morning, America. Let's see, I got slow mode and all that stuff on, subscribers only. We're good on that. Click that off, get rid of that. Turn that off. Turn my laptop back off. Shut down. We are good there. Laptop. There we go. And let's see, we gotta get the microphone out. How y'all doing today? How y'all are? I'm having a bad day today. Things just ain't going my way. Let's see, let's go right there. Not a whole lot of wind, but wrong button. There we go. All right, there we go. Very good. All right, let's see. How are we all doing today? I just am not having a very good day this morning. Things just aren't working my way. It's a never ending. Just never quits. Let's put this up here. I gotta make a little bit different setup this morning because I didn't bring my regular camera. I forgot it at home. I got an iPhone 12 that I use for the live streaming. I got iPhone 13 that I carry in my pocket and use as my regular phone. And I left the 12 at home with the good nights, the tripod and all that kind of stuff. So I got this little bitty short tripod, it's only about that tall, sitting on the table. It's not tall enough. It's about that angle right there. So I got to prop it up on this little box, hope the wind doesn't blow too hard and knock it off. It's just, the things we go through. Let's try. Let's try that. There we go. Maybe that'll work. Okay. My coffee's getting cold. My lighter won't work. The truck won't start. Hey, look, the bus is gone. The bus is at the mechanic shop. So we'll get to all that. Let's see who we got on here today. And it's muggy, it's rainy, it's humid. It's not hot, but it's very sticky. You know, your skin just feels moist and clammy, you know. So let's see, who was very first today? Bam Bam was first. Where's my glasses at? Bam Bam was first. Let's see, what do you say? Just me again. Wahoo, G-U-A-J-O. Guajo? Wahoo or Guajo? He's second. Me too, Lufkin, Texas. There you go. Campervan Mark, hello. KM, hello. B. Forrester, hi. Karen, good morning. North Star, good morning. Kim Wisby, Stan from all in the UK. All right, Kim. Let's see, UK would probably be what, 2 or 3 or 4, well, about using this phone for live streaming. Oh, I don't turn this thing sideways. That'll work. That'll work. Now it's more stable. When I use this phone, I get a phone call, you know, that kind of crud. Let's see, from the, Kim Wisby from the UK, I'm going to guess it's probably about 6 hours difference from here. So it's probably what, 3 or 4 or 5 in the afternoon over in the UK. All right, Debbie, good morning. Bus looks awesome. Yep, bus looks awesome. Bus is at the mechanic shop. I'll get into that in a second. Looking good. Jay Wade is looking good. You remember that? What was that? Chico and the Man. Chico and the Man. Remember it was a TV show back in the 70s? And looking good. Let's see. Xena. Noon conflicts with Mary rosemary time and mass time at 12:20. You know, campus. I'm here most days after finishing the morning chores. I need to catch up with y'all, but I will be praying for you. Thank you. I can use it, Zena. Thank you very much. Brenda Jackson, good morning to everybody. Wildflower. Wildfire, how do y'all here running around the house? I'm so moved by the big TV. So I'm moving the big TV. No chat. Okay. Can't believe he picked up the only rainy day to take the bus out. It's when the mechanic told me to bring it in, which doesn't hurt because I would like to have it out in the rain and see if it leaks. You know, wouldn't bother me a bit to find out if there's a leak. I can fix it now before I get too far into the build. I think I got all the leaks fixed. Let's see, and it wasn't really raining real hard when I drove up there. The pavement was more, wet, but it wasn't bad. It's raining good now. It's actually coming down a good gentle rain. It's supposed to have thunderstorms later on today. I was watching the news this morning. They were talking the weather report on the local news, and they said this rain is what it is. It's the leftovers of some hurricane, I think, out of the Pacific. The way it came up, it looks like it came up out of the Pacific across Mexico, is what it looked like to me. Understand we got snow last night, maybe more in Concho, Arizona. Wow, okay, 35 degrees. Oh, Catherine, hi Catherine, how you doing? Okay. Brenda Jackson, T2 and counting. T2, not sure what that means. Bam Bam, good morning, Madam Brenda, okay. Brenda, good morning, Bam Bam. Wesley Miller, good afternoon, Stan. Okay, you must be on the East Coast. Brenda Jackson, Criminal Minds is on today too. Okay, Bam Bam, more packing to get done here. Ken Moritz, yawning, coffee please. Yes, we got the coffee right here. It's getting cold though. It's not cold, it's just not warm. It's warm, it's not hot anymore. Yeah, regular, it's unleaded. It's unleaded coffee, decaf. Brenda moved 3 foster kittens and got 4 more today. Okay. I like cats. I like cats. I don't want to have a cat, but if you got a cat, it's nice and friendly. I come over and I'll pet it. Animals, I just don't want to take care of them. Every time you turn around, there's something you want to go do and you can't because the cat's in the truck or the dog's in the truck, and you can't leave them locked up in all day, and you can't go do something. And I just don't like the smell and the fur and all that kind of stuff. So, but if you got, I like animals. I just don't want one for myself to take care of. Where we go here? Back up. I missed something here. It scrolled on me. There's coffee. Okay. Emma Brown, hello. Tom and Jerry, what are you doing? Build on the bus. Yep. I didn't do anything this weekend. Didn't even come out here Saturday and Sunday. Saturday was hot and really windy. And so Pam and I drove around looking for a sofa to put in the bus. We went up to Nebraska Furniture Mart. If that isn't a wow. It wasn't what I thought it was. I thought it was going to be like a discount kind of furniture. No, it's $9 stuff. And we didn't find anything that really lit our lit our fire. So we left there. We went over to, there's a place in Dallas called the Dump, and it's I think what it is discontinued furniture. I think they get it cheaper and they sell it at discounted prices and everything. Went over there and walked around a little bit, looked at some couches and stuff, but kind of a lot of the same type of stuff. And there was a sales lady. When we walked in the door, you walk in and I'm sure they work on commission, so it's just like a car dealership or something. You walk in, and the first one that gets to you, they, hi, how you doing? And here's our business card, blah, blah, blah. If you need anything. And she's, okay, thank you. Go away, and we need something, we'll come and get you, kind of. You don't say it, you just like that, you just kind of think, can I interest you in anything? She says, no, we're just kind of kicking tires, trying to get ideas right now. Oh, okay, all right. And they go away, and they sit over there, maybe talk to other customers or whatever. this gal, she says, well, I'll just kind of tote along. I won't be right on you, stalking you, everything, but I'll just kind of stay close to where if you have any questions. And we went around the store, and she followed us around about 20 feet behind us and followed us around the whole stinking store, and just, I mean, almost within earshot. So if we're sitting there, you know, wow, wonder what kind of color. Oh, this comes in this color, you know. I don't like shopping that way with a salesman hanging right over you like that. I don't like that. It just felt weird, and it wasn't me. It was Pam too. She's like, what the hell's wrong with this woman? She's just stalking us, you know. And I know she's probably trying to do it for, you know, trying to be helpful, but it was weird the way she was doing it. So anyway, we left there, and we went over to this other place called, I forget the name of it. Unclaimed Freight, I think is the name of the place. And it's kind of, I think it's old discontinued type furniture, you know, the newest, you know, what's the name of that? Not Wesley, Kimberly, or no. It's a furniture manufacturer, not Kimberly, Wesley Furnitures or something like that. But they had a lot of that type of stuff, but it's just, anyway, we didn't have very good luck. We didn't have very good luck finding furniture and everything. And we'll hit it again next weekend or something, I don't know. But and come up with different ideas. We've got a sofa at home that's getting worn out because I sit in it, Waller in it on one side. So one where I sit, that's starting to get worn out. The rest of the couch is pretty nice and new. It's about 15 years old, and it's just kind of wearing out where I sit, you know. And then there's a matching chair that nobody ever sits in. It's brand spanking new, and I love the design. Pam hates it because it's got the pillow back. You know, you take the pillow out, and you know, some of them are sewed on. This here's a pillow you can actually take it off. And I sit in, I can kind of, you know, recline back like this and watch TV, and it supports your head and everything, you know. Well, sitting like this bothers her lower back, which I understand. I've had lower back issues too, so I can understand that. So she'll get a pillow and sit in it, and she just doesn't like the couch. She says it's uncomfortable for her. So she sits in her recliner. So then we got to thinking, well, instead of a sofa, we got two choices. We've got two choices. Now, on the inside of the bus, on the inside of the bus, you've got the windshield, the driver's seat, the stairwell, and then behind that, the setback front axle, the wheel humps for the steer tires. You got them, and then behind that, that's from the driver's seat back about 8 feet roughly. We've got that whole area that's living room area. And we've been back and forth on this. We're trying to decide which way to go. Do you buy two chairs, recliner chairs or something like that? You know, and you can get the ones that have the great big pillow armrests. They're too wide. You put two of them side by side, you can't walk in between them because the bus is only 88 inches wide on the inside. So if you get a 43-inch wide lazy boy, you know, big old puffy arm lazy boy, 43 and 43, that's 86. You get that much room to walk in the middle, you know, that won't work. So there's other recliners that have much smaller arms, you know, armrests and everything. They're much narrower, and so you can sit in them. And so we got to thinking maybe that, okay? So you have the choice of two recliners sitting right with the kitchen countertops behind, facing toward the front of the bus with the TV up above the windshield, or take them out and put a sofa along the driver's side and put the TV on the passenger side, so you sit sideways looking, you know, you look across the bus instead toward the front of the bus. And there's good and bad on both of them, and it just kind of, it's like 50-50. Which way do you go, you know? The thing about the couch is it's another place to sleep, okay? So in the middle of the night, and I'm snoring my butt off out at home, I go to bed and I'm back here snoring and she can't get to sleep, she can always get up and come out and lay on the couch and sleep, okay? With her, she can always go out and lay on the recliner and sleep. I don't sleep well on a recliner. I like to lay completely flat when I sleep. I don't like to be like in a hospital bed with the back raised up. I don't like that. So anyway, a couch would be nice. So you have another place to lay down and sleep. But then the chairs are nice because the TV's a little farther away and it just seems like a little bit more open. So I don't know. We're still toying with the idea. If we find the right chairs, we'll go with the recliner chairs. If we find the right sofa, we'll go with the sofa. The problem is every time we find a sofa that has the legs that are a little bit longer, you know, some of these sofas, the sofa goes all the way to the floor. You can't vacuum under them and stuff, you know. The one we have now comes about 5 inches off the ground. So there's these legs, these big round legs that when it's new, they come separate. And once you get moved in, you lift the thing up, you tilt it back and you screw these legs on the front and the back, right? So you got all these 4 legs. Well, because that tire wheel, you know, the tire well, it's 8¼ inches tall. So with my sofa, with the leg, you take the legs off and put a platform in there and you raise it up 8 inches, that sofa will sit 3 inches higher, the difference between 5 and 8 inches, it'll sit 3 inches higher than it does right now, which isn't it's not a killer, that would be okay. But that couch is starting to get worn out. And it's not a leather couch, it's that microfiber. It kind of looks like, remember the old bomber jackets, the leather bomber jackets from World War II? Remember those? They had that worn leather look, you know? Well, the couch is microfiber cloth that looks like leather. But you touch it, it feels like cloth, but to look at it, it looks like a what do they call that? Worn leather look, you know. So I love that couch. I fit in it comfortable. I really like the feel of that couch. Then I got to thinking, well, could we just take this couch? Because the only thing worn out on it is the cushion, you know, where I sit. And we flop the cushions and all that stuff. But underneath the cushions, the springs, you know, those little S springs that go in, those are getting a little bit weak. Well, I can take that couch apart, pull some springs out over here and just swap them and whatever, you know, and reinforce, you know, put stronger springs in here, whatever. I could do that. I could take the cushion, take the foam out, throw it away and put new foam in it. And then we got in a big discussion last night, or you know, all day, Saturday, I guess it was, Saturday. We got in this huge discussion about microfiber cloth. Can you wash it? You know, take the foam out. Now you got the shell or the lining or whatever of the cushion. Take the foam out, and here you just got cloth, and it's microfiber cloth. Throw it in a washer. Well, no, you can't do that, she says. You got to be like dry clean it or something. You can't just throw it in a washing machine because it'll ruin it. Oh, okay. I'm like, oh, it's just hogwash. Okay, the couch is about wore out anyway, so what's it going to hurt? You try it, and if it don't work, you know, oh no, it'll be terrible if, you know, it won't work. It won't work. Okay. So we got home Sunday. We're sitting there, and we have the couch came with these throw pillows that match the couch. And back when I think it was Sadie, we got 2 dogs. Sadie's the older one. She's about 3.5, almost 4 years old now. And when she was a puppy, the corner of the pillow, she chewed on it. So it's, you know, puppy chew, you know. So it chewed that one little corner off. And that pillow we don't really use hardly. It sits over on the chair over there and don't hardly ever use it. And I'm sitting there, it's the same material. Let's just take the stuffing out of that, wash it. If it's not, throw it away because it's just a pillow. It's just a pillowcase, you know. And it's been chewed on. It's not very good shape anyway. So last night, we did a load of laundry and I threw that in there. Pulled it out, didn't put it through the dryer, just pulled it out and hung it up on a hanger and let it just drip dry or whatever. And so tonight I'm gonna stuff it back in there, check it out, see if that's the case, we might be able to take our couch we have now, instead of throwing it away, just kind of recondition it a little bit. Take the cushions off, put them in a washer, kind of clean them up. The armrests, you can't throw them in a washer, but you know, get a steam cleaner or something and you know, vacuum, steam clean the arms, armrests and everything. And just clean it up real good, and like I said, switch the springs out, make the springs a little strong because it's starting to have a pit, and a lot of that's just the cushion itself. The foam cushion is breaking down. So anyway, we'll put that couch in there. Well, she doesn't like that idea because it would be the couch is the only thing in there, and she doesn't like sitting on that couch. we got that chair. Remember that chair that I told you about? It's a couch, and it's almost from armrest to armrest is about 6 foot. Okay, I'm 6'1", and it's 6 foot. And then by the time you put a pillow in there, I can't stretch out on that couch. Okay, but that chair is brand new and never been used. I mean, very little, hardly ever. It just sits over there and doesn't hardly get any use at all. Around Christmas and Thanksgiving, some guests come over and sit on it. So it's brand new. What if I put the chair in there and that recliner that she loves? So we got to measuring, and that's about, from end to end is about 8 foot on our couch. It has 7'9" or something like that. So I was going to make an 8 foot spot where you can put a couch in there, okay? And if you put a smaller couch, there's a little bit of gap there, and you can store things in between the kitchen counter and the edge of the couch. You can put, it's a little space that you can put in there. Anyway, I got to thinking, well, what if we put the chair over there, take the legs off the chair, build a little platform. It rises, set up 3 inches higher than it does now, but that's okay. I can still sit. I'd be sitting in that chair, and then put her recliner in there behind the wheel well to the right, and then. So anyway, right now we're juggling, trying to figure out which way to jump on that. The problem with that is when she puts her recliner, it's not a zero clearance recliner. She can kick the legs out, and the back doesn't, you put the back right up against the wall, and she can kick her legs out and recline just a little bit, okay? But once she starts reclining and laying down, then it goes back. That means you have to pull it away from the wall. Anyway, if she just kicks it up to where it's just the leg support. Got a truck pulling up out there. He's not coming in here though. If it kick the leg clearance up for her, it's right up against the counter, because we did this at the house. We moved the couch all the way up. Actually put my chair, that chair, the new chair, the old new chair, whatever. Put it up, and we measured from the wall where the TV is. I measured back 88 inches, okay? Right there. And that's where the back of the chair is. And then I put her recliner right beside it at the same level. And I said, all right, sit down here. And in front of the TV, there's one of those old chests, like a pirate chest, moving trunk or traveling trunk, like in the old days, during the Titanic, the kind of luggage they would carry. We've got that sitting down below the TV to put vases and, whatever. I think the TV, the TV box where you change the TV channel, the cable box is sitting on there, that kind of thing. Well, that comes out about the same distance as, it comes out about 20 inches from the wall. That's about how big of the counter I was going to put down underneath there. So she sits on her chair, and she just kicks the legs out, and she's sitting there. Well, now I'm over here, and I want to get up and go to the refrigerator to go get a beer or something. She's got to put her legs all the way down for me to get past her. That's the problem with this thing. It's just that recliner, it's just so big, it takes up so much space, So I don't know what the solution is. Maybe just get the chair and go buy her a new recliner that's shaped a little bit different. It's not quite so big and bulky, But her recliners are very nice one. I don't know what brand it is, but it's got all the bells and whistles. You recline, and then it's got the headrest that moves up and down. It's got, I think it's all electric and all that kind of crap. It's got all of it. It doesn't have massage features or nothing like that. And it's not a rocker, not a swivel, but it's nice. It's a full leather, real leather. So, and she likes it. She's very comfortable in it. So, I don't know what to do there. I would love to have a couch that I can lay on, but the problem with the couch is it will probably be comfortable to me, but not to her, or the other way around. She'll like it, and I'm like, this is not very comfortable, because I like to lay back, kick back when I'm watching TV or whatever, So I don't know. First world problems, right? And then, okay, so we did all that, went looking around. That was Saturday. Sunday, I just got lazy. Didn't get around till after about 1 o'clock. And I thought, heck what, the race is coming on. So I just stayed and watched the race. Instead of recording the race, I just watched the race and sat at home all day. Okay, it was pretty windy yesterday too. It was a nice day, it was just windy. knowing I was going to come out today, I didn't want to get too deep into another project on the bus, and then, you know, it was a good stopping point where I'm at. I've got all the walls in. Where I showed you on Friday, I continued to build the rest of the walls, completely put them in. They're all mounted. I put a few more boards in here and there, and just kind of, you know, finishing up that part. And that was a good place to stop for the week while I take it into the mechanic. Now, why did I take it to the mechanic? Here's another problem. There it is. There it is. My little sparker right in here. See that little sparker? There it goes. It's going bad. That's my biggest problem right here. I don't have my lighter ain't working right. Aggravating. Okay. All right, so came out this morning. I called 2 weeks ago. Went up to this mechanic. I went to the local school bus barn where the school buses are for the local school district. Went up and talked to them and said, hey, you know, what can you tell me about this, and how do you do this on this, you know, on a bus, and how do you get to this, and what do you, and he was telling me, you know, like to get to the engine, you got to take the front of the bus off basically. Oh, okay. And to get to the front of the engine, you got to take the radiator out and the intercooler and all that kind of stuff, blah, 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 blah. Okay. And I says, do you guys do that here? I mean, not for me, but do you do that for your own buses? Yes, sometimes, whatever, depends on what it is. Well, you guys do mostly just maintenance, right? Putting new brake shoes on and fixing taillights and things like that, right? He goes, yeah, pretty much. I said, what about engine overhauls? No, we don't do anything like that. Where do you go then? And he gave me the name of a local mechanic that they would take their buses to. He's a guy, he knows buses. He's a good mechanic, all around good mechanic, and he knows buses. Most mechanics don't like to work on buses, okay? All right. So I went over and talked to him a few weeks ago, and he says, yep, I can do all that stuff, but I'm really busy right now. It'll be a couple weeks before I can get to you. Oh, okay. Well, should I just check in with you in a couple weeks and see how you're doing? He goes, yep, do that. So I called him Friday, says, hey, you remember me? He goes, yep. You ready to bring it in? I says, if you're ready, I'll bring it in whenever. And he goes, not quite today and everything. And I said, I can keep it and work on it through the weekend and all this. And he goes, yeah, just bring it in on Monday. So that's why I brought it in today. It's raining today. Would have liked to drove it in there on a, it's nice and clean, I didn't want to drive and get it all messed up, road spray and everything. But I took the back roads and got it in there, parked it. Pam came and picked me up, brought me back out here to the shop to get my van. So I'm thinking, well, I can do this live stream real quick. And then I need to work on that truck. I need to pull that truck in here and start cleaning it up and getting it all, spiffied up, to take pictures of it to put it up for sale, So I figured that while the bus is in the shop, I'm going to work on the semi. Good deal. I get out here, she drops me off, she pulls out the driveway, I get in the shop here, get the keys, run out there, fire it up, nothing. Not even a click, 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 nothing. Turn the key, it's like nothing. Absolutely nothing. Crap. I must have left a dome light on or something. I don't know. I turned everything off, all this, the water pump and, all the refrigerators off. All that stuff is turned off. It's all turned off and everything, but somewhere along the line, about 3 weeks ago, I fired it up and it fired right off. And it was parked over by the container. I pulled it around and I parked it where it is now. And it's, it fired right off. It's about 3 weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago now, about 3 weeks ago. And I'd been gone all that time, went up to Milwaukee to do that work. So I was gone and I come back and I'm thinking, well, batteries would be low or something, and it fired right off. Well, anyway, so that was almost 4 weeks ago now. And it fired right up, no problem. So I pulled her where it's at now, parked it and done, and left it sitting there. Haven't touched it since. Went out there today, turned the key, and nothing. Dome lights wouldn't come on, nothing. It is dead. Crap. So I came in and got my meter and my inverter right here with the solar panels and all that. This right there, that inverter. there's the terminals are on this side right here, okay? Right in between the chains, you can see them right there, positive and negative, okay? And it's a 12-volt system, well, about 14 volt, okay? I got my meter out, got it set, okay, that's working, that's the setting I need. Go out, put it on the batteries in the truck, 3 volts, 3. And these are brand new batteries, well, fairly new batteries. I just bought them back in March when I was up in Hagerstown. Before we went out to California, I was having trouble. Hagerstown, it got chilly and cold there for about a week, and the batteries weren't running, starting right, and you know, it just, you know, the batteries kept going dead and everything. I couldn't keep the batteries up, and took them out and threw them in Joe's car. First responder Joe, Taco Joe, threw them in the black bean, and we went down to a Napa store, and they tested them, and 2 of them had dead cells. All right, well, let's just buy some brand new batteries. So I bought 4 brand new batteries, it was around March, and put them in there, had worked fine ever since, okay? Went to California, and on the way back, I was having trouble with the battery staying charged up, you know, at night and stuff. What the hell's wrong with this thing? It's brand new batteries, I got something wrong. So when we were coming back across the country, if you remember, we left Montana. I'd rejoined in Butte, Montana. We worked our way down and crossed over into Des Moines, Iowa, into Illinois. When they stopped in Illinois, I can't remember the town, Cuba, Illinois, something like that. Anyway, when they stopped in Illinois on I-80, I kept going, and I went on over to Indiana, went over to ARI, the company that makes the sleeper. And I said, there's something wrong here, some kind of switch or something's going wrong. And they know those trucks inside and out. They're very good at their job. So we got to looking at it, and all it was the terminal was loose, battery terminal bolt was loose, and it wasn't making good contact, therefore it wasn't charging the batteries right. Okay, all right, no problem. So we tightened that up and fixed a couple of little small things, and been good since, okay? So anyway, somewhere from the time I started it and moved it over where it's at now, I went out to the truck and got in there, opened the door, turned the light on or something, I don't know, and forgot. Maybe I left the dome light on, I don't know, something. I know those batteries are dead. So, I'm gonna run down to Napa tomorrow. It's raining today, so I'm not gonna do it today. I'm gonna take the batteries out, take them down to Napa, let them test them, see if there's any dead cells in them. When they're that low, they're probably ruined. So I might have to either buy brand new batteries, or maybe they'll dash cam direct wire. No, dash cam is plugged in. It's unplugged right now. Yeah, it's always something. Yeah, it is. Yeah, what's the old saying? If it's got tits or tires, it's a headache. I didn't say that. Somebody else said that. I just repeated it. Anyway. Yep, it's got tits or tires, it's gonna give you a headache. See, the women, they got sayings like that about us too, so, you know, it works out. Anyway, so anyway, that's the problems I got. My lighter, this is the number 1 problem. My lighter is starting to go bad. That's my number 1 problem. Number 2 problem, the batteries are dead on the truck. Anyway, once I get the batteries fired up, get pulled in here, I'm gonna go through and clean it up and take all the stuff out. I still got clothes in there, and I'm gonna clean it all out, make it look nice, and take pictures of it and put it on, throw it on ads and see if I can't sell the truck. Now, do I need to sell the truck? No. Do I want to sell the truck? Yes and no. Yeah, yes, because I want to get out of trucking, just walk away from it. But then on the other hand, it's an income stream if I need it. You know, it's always right there, and I can always, it's still paperwork, is everything ready to go. If the batteries were up, I could fire it up right now, call Choice and say, let's go to work, and they give me a load this afternoon, okay? Because I'm still leased with them, still paperwork's all done, ready, still good to go. All I have to do is make a call, and I can be rolling today or tomorrow and go out and make some money, Okay, so that's nice having that there. If I didn't have that truck, I'd have to go hire on with somebody, with a trucking company or something like that, to make some money. And I don't want to do that. I'm wanting to get out of trucking, go do the RV thing, and during the spring and fall or whatever, a couple tours of that company in Milwaukee, go up there and do that marketing stuff. Go do that for 2 months here and 2 months there, make enough money to live on for the rest of the year. And that's kind of what I'm hoping to do. I was going to do it with YouTube money, but YouTube money's not, it's fickle. 1 month I'll make really good money and, well, not really good, but, sustainable money. And the next month it's nothing. I might make 1,800 bucks 1 month and 400 the next. It's like this, So with that, YouTube's not reliable for an income stream unless you got 1 million subscribers and you're making $50,000 a month, then it's reliable, but I don't have that. I've got 120,000 subscribers and about 3,000 or 4,000 people watch all the videos, that's not very good. The problem with my YouTube channel, as far as viewers and all that, is I'm too all over the place. And some people find that refreshing. Oh, you never know what he's going to be going doing. One day he's farming, the next day he's on a convoy, the next day he's working in his shop. Next day I'm over doing something in the Upper Peninsula or whatever. I'm showing this old I don't know, museum or Civil War battlefield or something. The channel's all over the place, which is refreshing because you never know what you're going to get when you turn on or when you tune in. But on the other hand, as far as YouTube, they say the better YouTube channels, they laser focus on one thing. For instance, when I did nothing but trucking, the channel kept growing and growing and growing because you knew when you tuned in, you were going to get a trucking video or me traveling video, in the truck. But that's one of the problems with the YouTube with me there's a couple other ones. I got a whole bunch of subscribers off of that 10 million view, how to shift an 18 speed. I got 10 million views, I'm getting almost 11 million views on that now. And I got a whole bunch of truck drivers that subscribed. They watched that one video, subscribed, watched a few videos, and then haven't watched anything since. Okay? So their subscribers are there, they just don't watch. Okay? And then on the convoy, I got a whole bunch of new subscribers relating to the convoy stuff. But now that the convoy's over, they haven't unsubscribed, but they don't watch because it's not controversy with the convoy, So I've got those two groups, a large group of truck drivers that don't watch because they watched one video, thought it was neat, but never watched any more. And then I've got a whole bunch of people that used to watch the convoy, but they don't watch because I'm not on the convoy anymore. But they haven't bothered to unsubscribe. Okay, so that gives me two huge categories of people that are subscribed but just don't watch. And then I've got you guys that are loyal as heck. I jokingly say I could put a camera out there and watch grass grow and you guys would watch it because you're very loyal, But it's only 3,000 or 4,000 of you. So that's the problem on the channel. I've got a large following, or a large subscriber base, but not that many people watch. A good channel, you'd have 50,000 subscribers and 40,000 views on every video. That's a really good channel, okay? Mine's the other way around. I've got a lot of subscribers. Percentage-wise, I've got a very small percentage of people that actually watch. So it's nice to say, yeah, I got 120,000 subscribers, but that doesn't equate to money, okay? A monthly income that's very reliable. I know a friend of mine, he's got about 80,000 subscribers. It's not Tom, it's somebody else. But he's got about 80,000 subscribers, and every video he puts out, he gets 40 or 50,000 views, every video, and he can make a living on that, and he does. So anyway, what else am I going to talk about? So I got number one problem. Batteries are number two problem. But we are getting rain today, which we needed very bad here in Texas. We really needed some rain. So, but it's not going to be very much. I think they're thinking about a total of 1/4 of an inch. You know, it's going to soak in. It's going to rain slow enough. It's going to soak all into the yard. None of it's going to run off and fill the pond up. The pond's not going to gain anything. So, but it'll be good for the grass and good for the trees. So, I think that's getting close to it. I can't think of anything else I need to talk about. Like I said, I was going to work on, I don't need to sell the truck. That's where I was. I don't need to sell the truck. I'm looking at it like I bought the truck back in 2020 and I paid this much money for it. The market has went stupid crazy right now and it's worth this much. Here in another year or two, it's going to be back to worth this much. So I thought, hey, sell it while the getting's good. I don't have any great love for any vehicle. I've never just, oh, that's my Mustang I had in high school and I'll never sell it, you know. It's just a machine to me, you know. I'm happy with it, but it's just a machine. And I look at it like an investment or a stock or anything like that. If I bought it for $5 and I can sell it for $10, I'm going to sell it, you know. Put the money in the bank, and then later on, when I don't think the lighter is serviceable, yeah. the little clickers, they go bad. But I can sell the truck, go do that, and then put the money in the bank while the prices are still up. They're starting to come back down. So if I really wanted to sell it, I should have sold it back around June. That would have been at the peak of the price wars or whatever. But I was talking to a couple of friends of mine and he says, yeah, the prices are starting to come down a little bit, but not all the way. I thought, hey, if I can still throw a $120,000 price tag, let somebody haggle me down to 110 or 100 or something like that, I'd sell it. I'm not going to let them haggle me down to 70. For 70, I'll keep it and just have it as a secondary source of income because it doesn't cost me anything to sit out there, okay? But like I said, I'm getting to the point where I'm wanting to get out of trucking. I've got that other job that I can go do and make money on there. So I don't really need the truck anymore. If I don't really need the truck and I can sell it at a profit, go ahead and sell it, get rid of it, get it down the road, you know. So I'm gonna make a video, once I get it started, get it cleaned up, I'm gonna make a video. That way somebody calls and says, hey, I'm interested in the truck, whatever. I says, go to Sasnak and look up whatever video and it will, and you can do the walk around. And, oh, really, I really like that. Or, no, it's not worth me driving down from Oklahoma to see it, you know, whatever. So I don't know. But if the truck sells, great, put the money in the bank. If it doesn't, then that's okay. Just leave it there and it's a backup plan, you know. And if somewhere down the line, if I sell it and somewhere down the line I really need another truck or another really good opportunity comes along or something, I can always just go out and buy another truck. But don't know. Well, more than likely I'd buy a regular truck again. If I ever bought another truck, it'd probably be just a normal truck. That way, see this truck here, I can't do a lot of stuff because it's heavy, you know. It's a heavy truck, therefore you can't haul a lot of freight with it. A lot of places you can't lease on because it's too big, too heavy. It's a specialty niche market because of the weight. That's why not, otherwise every truck out there would be big like this. So, anyway, that's kind of where that's at. Thinking if there's anything else I need to talk about. Let me scroll through, maybe reading some of your comments will jar my memory. So, all right, we'll go from the newest one, Brenda Jackson. Leo Ruff, Shetty, I'd like to talk to you. I'm still on Discord, okay? North Star, Ray Downey, I never received anything from you and would, okay, this is all you guys talking to each other. Don't have his email. My email on my YouTube channel, it's on every video. Now these live streams, it's not, but all my regular videos, my edited videos, at the very front, when you see the Sasnak, and the Sasnak logo, down at the very bottom, also in the description below the screen, that's where my email, it's sasnakvideo@gmail, sasnakvideo@yahoo.com. sasnakvideo@yahoo.com. Thank you, Linda. You are very entertaining and fun to watch. You're just a good old boy. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Stan, I asked you before if I was related to any Rogers from Kansas. No. Rogers it's not in my family at all. It's not my last name. It's not relation's name or nothing. No. Let's see. Scroll backwards a little bit. How long does it take to watch paint dry on a rainy day? Asking for a friend. It takes longer on a rainy day. the more, man, it's got dark all of a sudden. There's a big old dark cloud over here coming through. Wow. I think we're getting ready to have a thunderstorm. It's not raining right at the moment, but it got dark all of a sudden. And it's kind of, light overcast glow, and then here's this dark cloud flying over right now. Let's see here. Remove lint. I did. Right here, I wiped it. I took a towel, wiped it off, whatever. Did that. It's working sometimes, but it's getting worse. And usually what happens is the sparkers, they go bad on these things. Falcone view, no, by gold and silver, banks will crash. Yeah, I can't argue with that. North Star, let's see. Hey Stan, I never got my stickers. Oh, Roy Downey never got his stickers. North Star, you want to look into that? Ray Downey said he never got his stickers. So why don't you look into that and maybe send him a couple more stickers or something, I don't know. No more electronic aggravation background like you picked up for the Whittier video. Okay. Yeah, always remember that there's somebody out there with much bigger problem. I don't know if you can get a bigger problem than this. You don't have your lighter, you can't smoke your pipe, and if you can't smoke your pipe, the world might as well implode. It's that big of a deal. Let's see. Don't know about the grass growing thing. Grass is kind of done for the year, I think. It's starting to get that time of year where it's getting ready to go into hibernation. It's already pretty brown right now because it haven't had any rain. I was watching before the convoy, back when you were driving the red truck you totaled. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, Dewey. There's a group of people that watch all the time. Once they found the channel, they're like, oh yeah, I really love it, and they watch all the time. But there's a huge group of people that watch that one video, subscribed, and haven't watched anything since. And it just makes my numbers look bad as far as the algorithm. It makes the algorithm go, hell, nobody's watching his stuff. Well, there are people watching it. It's just, I could get 1 million subscribers, but if one person watches, then that's no good. You see what I'm saying? And it's not anybody's fault. I'm not pointing anything, I'm not saying anything like, hey, it's just that's the fact of why I don't make very much money on YouTube. On average, just for disclosure here, on average, I make around $10,000 a year on YouTube. 1 month I'll make $1,500, or in 1 month, and then the next month I'll make $800. It averages around $1,000 a month. okay, average, okay? But it goes up and down, okay? And it's not like, if it was something where I knew every month I made 2,000, it was very, very regular, that's one thing, but it doesn't, it goes up and down. When I went up to the UK, or the UP, those videos that I made during that time, people didn't watch them that much. If you go back and look at the numbers, I was getting 4,000 and 5,000 views, and then I went up and did the UP stuff, and for some reason people just don't want to watch that. And that's the stuff I enjoy making. I like making those kind of videos when I'm traveling around. Hey, look at this stupid thing I just saw over here. Well, this is really neat. Look at this. And I don't. It's weird, you know. And I know I could do a lot better on YouTube. All I got to do is drama. You know, there's a lot of, I know several YouTubers that I know personally, okay, won't say names, but it's all drama, you know. It's like, oh my God, I had a flat tire today and I don't know what I'm gonna do, please send me money, you know. And people respond to that because it's drama. I mean, that's why they watch the Kardashians. That's why they watch, you know, all those reality TV shows that aren't reality, but they watch all that stuff because they want conflict and drama, and I'm just not a conflict and drama. There was quite a bit of conflict and drama during the convoy, and I hated that, you know, just constant people bickering and bitching and moaning and everything, and I don't want to stir that kind of pot, you know. Like to put things out that are fun and positive and entertaining and stuff that I want to do. And if people watch, fine. If they don't, then, you know, I've kind of got over the idea that I'm going to grow this channel big enough to where I can make a living on it. I'm going to grow this channel big enough to where I make beer money, you know, beer money, and it's for fun. And if I don't enjoy doing it, then I won't do it, you know. And that's one of the big things about YouTube is if you don't enjoy doing it, you're not going to make a very good video. Therefore, people will see that. Oh, he didn't put any effort into this video at all. Well, because I didn't like doing it, you know. Now this video, I loved it. It was fun. I really enjoyed it. And the editing, I can have fun with it, you know. And so, starting to rain. Y'all hear that? Let me check, make sure I got my truck door shut. Hold on, I'll be right back. Yep, it's all closed. All right, so yeah, it's starting to come down pretty good right now. So you can't see it. I can't even see the raindrops. There we go. It's looking out. Here it is. You hear it on the roof? So there we go. My dad used to say, save the drama for your mama. We need that rain in Ohio Valley very badly. Everybody does. Seems like everybody needs rain except Florida. Florida got all of our rain that last a few weeks ago. There, it's coming down. You can really see it. I can see it now. You can see it coming across those trees over there. I can see it. Camera can't probably. But yep, it's coming down good. Make sure this door's shut. Yep. It gets noisy, and when it really gets to raining, it gets noisy here in the shop. So, well, let's see what else we got. There we go. Ah! Getting some good rain. Getting some good rain. Let's see, Kino Sabi. Stan, are you and Tom going to have another meetup in Quartzsite this winter? Yes, yeah, definitely. I have a metal roof and love it. At night, sleep like a baby. There you go. I love the sound of rain on an RV roof. There you go. Tom and I, Tom and I know. The whole group. It doesn't rely on me. It doesn't rely on Tom. It's just the group of people. They just get together out there. Whether I show up or whether Tom shows up, the other people will still be there, okay? That group will probably be going there for another decade at least, you know. So yeah, the quartzite thing is an ongoing thing. There's some people down there already. They go down there and spend the whole winter. They spend a whole like 6 months during the winter, and they're starting to show up right now. I won't get out there till January. I'm gonna fill the pond now. If it rains like this for very long, yeah, it'll start filling the pond, but I doubt it'll fill it. Kinosabi, I'll be there. Good. We'll meet you then, okay? Darlene, you have been to and seen some wonderful places in your big truck. It's like home away from home for some time. I imagine it would be difficult to let it go. God bless and be good. Like we talked, I don't have any love for a vehicle, whether it's that truck or a car or whatever. It's just a machine to me, you know. So yeah, I'll be happy to get out of trucking. I'm 35 years is enough. I'm going to go do something else. I don't mind the traveling. I don't mind the driving part. It's just trucking is starting to change so much, and it's just the idiots you see out there nowadays. I mean, I drove for 35 years, and the first 30 years, from 87 is when I first started driving in 87. So for 30 years, I never saw anybody roll a truck, lay a truck over in a parking lot of a truck stop. I click on Facebook now, and it seems like about once a month, you'll see a picture of somebody went around a corner in a truck stop so fast he rolled the truck over in a parking lot. That's what kind of drivers we got out there nowadays. They just, yeah. I'm not a clickbait kind of guy. Well, the thing is, you try to make the video, the name of the video, you try to make it to where it's interesting, but clickbait, whoo, it's coming down hard now. Look at that. Woo-wee. I love it. It is coming down good. Over here and look at the downspout. There it is against the truck. See, the wind's out of the north right now. That's why it's not coming on the porch right here. There you go. It's pouring down good. I don't see it. The cows are out there getting washed. So, and you can see I've got the alternator. I mean the charger. I'm trying to charge those batteries up a little bit. I had it on there for about 20 minutes, and I went out and turned the key on. The dome lights came on. And when I turned the key, it went click, 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 click. So it's putting some juice in there. Maybe by the time I get done with this video, I'll go out there and fire it up. Maybe it'll start, but I'm not expecting it to. So maybe I'll get lucky. I kind of doubt it though. What I need to do is, now that I got a little juice in there, after the video, I'm going to go out there and get inside and look around and see what did I leave on. I left something on. It wasn't on when I went to Wisconsin because it came back, it fired right up. But since then, I've got in there to get something, turned the dome light on, got something and left during the day and didn't realize I left the dome light on. Something like that has happened, and I don't know what it is. I know the inverter was turned off, the refrigerator's turned off, the water pump's turned off, all that kind of stuff was turned off. But something, I don't know. Maybe a cabinet door. You know, you open the cabinet door and a dome light comes on in the cabinet and I didn't close the cabinet door. Something like that has run the batteries down. Yeah, being the batteries are fairly new, they should charge up. Yes, but when you discharge them that much, it usually damages them. Is that bull lane? Is that the bull lane out there? Right there? No, right there? No, that's a 55-gallon barrel. I've got a couple of 55-gallon barrels, and they like to push them around and play with them. That's their little toy, I guess. And I'll bring them over and set them down. I come back out the next day, and they're halfway across the pasture. And I just gave up. They'll get out there and push it around. That one's not moving because they're not in the yard right now. They're out in the pasture. But Seems like every time they come in the yard here, they come up and they push things around. They love that thing, that barbecue grill. I think it's these edges right here, and they get their neck underneath and scratch their neck, and I'll come out and that thing will be moved around all the time. They've never knocked it over, but they move it around all over the place. So, but they're not in the yard right now. They're all out in the pasture. So let's see what else we got. Yeah, no, the batteries are so low I couldn't even start the generator. That's what I'll do is I'll probably go out there. By now I probably can start the generator up, and that will put a lot of juice because the alternator on that generator is a lot bigger than the one on that van. That one on that van is probably getting hot right now because it's putting so much electricity out. But because it's a little V6, and but yeah, that generator, I fire it up and it'll actually charge those batteries pretty good. So I need to get just enough juice in there to be able to start the generator. At that point, it'll probably go. I'll do that after I get off the video here. Yeah, dogs are happy with the tennis ball. Bulls are happy with a 55-gallon drum. Yeah, horses love them too. They love to just push things around, play with them. I bought a skittish bull, gonna take him to the barn, the sale barn, after it chases you. There you go. Oh, that's what I got to talk about. Why did I take the truck to the bus to the mechanic? All right, I knew I was forgetting something. All right, the reason I took the bus to the mechanic, it's got a 5.9 Cummins diesel engine. Okay, it's the same motor that was in the Dodge pickup. This is the early version. It's when Dodge first, back in the 80s, I think, somewhere around the 80s, they started putting a Cummins motor. I think they had a diesel motor of their own. Chevy had a diesel motor. Ford had a diesel motor. And Dodge, they decided, hey, let's go with this Cummins diesel instead. So they made a contract with Cummins. Cummins had this little SB4 or SB6, something like that. They had a name for it. I can't remember the name. And it is coming down hard right now. Good. Maybe I will fill my pond up. Yeah, rain like this for another half hour and that pond will be full. This is good. I'm happy. See how wind's blowing them trees around? All right. So I think it was around the mid-80s. They came out with, Dodge made a contract with Cummins, and I can't remember the name of the motor. It's SB4 or something. SB4 is the 4-cylinder diesel engine, and SB6, I think it's SB. Anyway, I'm probably got my letters wrong here, but I think it's the SB. SB4 and the SB6, a 4-cylinder and a 6-cylinder. The 4-cylinders they put in things like the UPS delivery vans, those panel vans that the UPS uses and FedEx uses. They put a lot of those in them. And then the SB6s they put in bigger vans, just 6-cylinder instead of 4-cylinder. And they put the Cummins 5.9 mechanical 12 valve, what they call a 12 valve. There's 2 valves per cylinder. And they put that in the Dodge pickup. And they had it in there for several years, and then they switched over to the 24 valve. The 24 valve 5.9, and then they increased the cubic inch and went from a 5.9 to a 6.7 now. I think it's a 6.7, I think, is the modern. If you buy a brand new Dodge pickup now, you'll get with a Cummins diesel. I think it's a 6.9 24 valve motor, okay? So this is the earlier version of that. What's in the bus is the earlier version. It's a 5.9 SB6 12 valve mechanical motor. There's no electronic fuel injection, okay? It's a common rail. Common rail, what do they call it? A P-pump, okay? Anyway, it's got that kind of motor in it. Those motors are very, very, very reliable. They're the shit. There's the cat's meow. They're the good. They're the good one. All right. That's why I bought this bus. They got one Achilles heel though. Everything, they run forever. They just never break, it seems. They're just very, very good, reliable engines. Because they're a good size block, but they don't put that much horsepower out. You can turn them up and make horsepower, but just as stock, they just don't make a lot of huge horsepower, and so they're not stressed. They run forever. With that said, they got one thing that's really, really bad about them. It's called the killer dowel pin, KDP, killer dowel pin. On the front of the motor, there's the timing belt, no. Timing chain, no. Timing gears, okay? So on the front of the motor, where the fan is, you take the fan off and all the pulleys for the fan belt, you take all that stuff off, and you've got your cover for your timing cover, okay? You take that off, and inside there's several gears, probably about 5 or 6 gears inside there. And it's off the main cam, there's a gear, and there's a gear, and there's a gear, and there's another gear. And those gears turn the overhead cam, okay? And when they put that on, there's the block, and then there's this cover. There's a little spacer about that thick, okay? And it's a piece of solid aluminum they mill out, okay? This solid aluminum, and they mill it all out, and it bolts to the front of the block. And it's a spacer that comes out, so you can put a cover over the top of it for the distance of the gears that are turning. And those gears are probably about that wide, okay? Maybe that big around. They're different sizes, okay? You got a gear about that big and about that wide, and those gears are designed where here's the hole, or here's the gear, and there's a hole cut out here, and there's a hole cut out here, hole cut out here, and it's like 4 spokes of a wheel, okay? If you think of it that way. All right, that matters. The reason I tell you that is because what happens is when they go to line this up at the factory, when this motor was, it's a 94, so it's probably built in, the motor is probably built in 93. So in 93, they're sitting at the Cummins factory, and they got the block coming down the assembly line, and they got all that built. Now it's time to put the cover, the timing cover on. Okay, they got all the gears on there, and they take this cover, or this spacer, they put the spacer on there with a gasket, okay, and then after that's on there, they put the cover, which is sheet metal stamped out, and put that on there, seal it all up, and now oil can circulate in there and keep everything lubed. The problem with it is when they go to put that on there, you got all this, you got the gasket, and you got the gasket sealant, which is like a putty or like caulking, okay? And you put that on there, you put it on, and then you get moving around. You don't want to do that. You want to put it on exactly where it goes. So you got these little dowel pins that stick out. They're about the size of my finger right there, okay? They put these little dowel pins, one at the top, one at the bottom. That way they can line it up with that pin and slide it on exactly where it needs to go, and then start putting the bolts in, okay? The problem is those dowel pins are just pressure fitted in there, and over time they can vibrate and wiggle out. And if there's one on the top, one on the bottom. The one on the bottom is not a problem. It falls out, it just falls out and goes down in the oil pan and just sits there. It doesn't hurt anything. The one on the top falls out, falls down into the oil pan, doesn't hurt anything. The problem is between there and the oil pan, it's got to go down through all these gears. And if it just happens to hit just right, here's these gears turning, and it falls, and here's where it's at, and here's these gears, okay? It falls right there, right. If it gets in there, it'll wedge. Now, if it wedges in a place on the pulley or the gear where there's the cutout, it will break the gear, okay? But if it falls in to where it's supported behind that gear, just 1 second. Just one. There. There's some cardboard. Okay, there's your gear. See that circle? There's your gear, okay? Now, in here, when they make it, they put these holes in here. So it's not a solid piece of metal. Lightens it up a little bit. Less metal, a little bit lighter, strong enough. if that dowel pin hits about right in here, if it hits about right here, it will break this out, okay? And it ruins that gear, and that's it. But your gear's ruined and things can go bad from there. But if it happens to hit right about right here, this is supported here, see? And here's the actual shaft. The center hole, that's the shaft going into your into the motor. And all right, so if it hits about right here, this is supported. This can't collapse because it's solid behind here. So the gear won't break. It'll push so hard as it comes around here, it'll push so hard, pushing in this way, it'll push against there, and then the upper gear, here's the bottom, here's this gear, and there's another gear up here. If it falls in there about right here, it'll break the gear out, okay? But if it falls right here, when it goes in there, if it hits right here, it's supported. So this can't collapse because it's solid metal. Well, something's got to give somewhere. It'll push on this bearing so hard, it can actually break where the bearing goes into the block, and it can actually break your block. So it's a major thing. It's a major Achilles heel. So one of the only things wrong with that motor is that killer dowel. If that dowel doesn't come out, it's a great motor. If the dowel does come out and happens to go in and hits that, and it hits it often enough that it's a problem, and your block is ruined. You got to throw the motor out and buy a brand new motor. Okay? So, when I first bought the bus, I didn't know about that killer dowel. I'd never heard of it. Donnie told me about that. Donnie, my friend out there in Arizona, he tells me about it. Yep. Loctite the pins in. Well, they're pressure fitted in apparently, and they didn't know this until after they'd been out there for a few years. By then, they're going to redesign the motor into that 24 valve, so they never fixed it, okay? I don't think they ever bothered to fix it. It's just one of the things that they found out later on after the motors had miles on them, that a few of them, hey, wow, what happened here? Wow, okay, that's a fluke. Well, it happened again and happened again. It happened enough to where they go, man, it's kind of a bad thing. So they're not going to redesign the motor because they're getting ready to go to the 24 valve. It's a different design anyway. So people that have that 12 valve motor, it's just one of the things you take the panel off and look to see if it's the pin's in there. If the pin's in there, you want to keep the pin in, I guess. They got this little clip they can put in, and it just holds it in front to where the pin can't come out. It's just, here's the pin, and it just wiggle, 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 and falls out. They put this little clip right over the top of it, and there's a bolt down here, and they bolt that in, okay? And now it can't go out. It's a keeper, and it can't come out now. It's a super simple fix. There's no parts. It's all labor, okay? Well, that's one thing on a pickup. You can take some fan belts and get stuff and get in there and fix that. Donnie did it to his pickup. He did it himself, okay? Because he's got one of these older 12 valve motors in his pickup. He did it himself. Me, I can't get in there. I got to take the whole, and I'm not a mechanic. I hate working on stuff like that because it'll be one little thing that I'll forget to put in and it'll ruin the motor. You know, I'm just not a good mechanic. Know your weaknesses and know your strengths and know your weaknesses. Know your what you're good at. I'm not any good at mechanic work. I hate it. I don't like to do it, and I'm not very good at it because of that. Therefore, I leave it to the pros. So anyway, I didn't know about this when I first bought the bus. I thought, you know, it's pretty old. I want to put new fan belts and new radiator hoses and all that kind of stuff on there. And then I get looking around. Man, it's hard to get in there to get to this stuff. You know, I can put my own fan belt on. Not on this thing, because there's that much clearance. I mean, here's the motor and here's the radiator, and it's just right there. You don't have any room to get up in there. And it's really tough to get in there. Anyway, so I was sitting there talking to somebody and says, yeah, what they do is they take the front of the motor, the front of the bus off. If you look at the front of the bus, there's the headlights. On my bus, there's the headlights, and there's a whole panel. They take that panel off, and then up where the radiator is, there's a flip, you know, push some pins or some little clips, and the thing folds down so you can get to the radiator cap and the, what else? There's something else in there. Anyway, you can get in there and service a couple things, but not much, okay? Mainly just a radiator cap. But you can get in there, clean debris, bugs off the radiator and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, you take all that stuff, you take that panels off the front, and now you have access to the intercooler and the radiator. You take those out, which I want to do anyway. It's one of the service things. A 28-year-old bus. What's that radiator look like? Is it clogged? Is it going to overheat? First mountain I hit, is it going to overheat? So I wanted to flush the radiator, put new coolant in it, put new hoses on, put new fan belts on. So I wanted to do all that. Then I found out about this killer dowel thing. You got to get into the killer dowel. You got to take all this stuff while you're in there. When you go to put it back together, just put all this new stuff in. And while he's working on that, you can take the radiator out and get it flushed, cleaned, whatever. He called it, well, I'm going to cook the radiator. I didn't, that's new to me. I'd never heard that term. But apparently you take the radiator somewhere and they soak it in a bath of acid or something and it gets all the corrosion out. I don't know. But he called it cooking. We're going to cook, I'll go cook the radiator. Or maybe they take it out and they put it in an oven. I don't know. But anyway, it flushes all the corrosion and shit out of the radiator. Okay. While you have that off, also in front of the radiator, you have your intercooler. The intercooler, when the turbo is working, remember the turbo runs off of what? Exhaust. So you got the hot exhaust coming out of the engine going into the turbo. You got the hot side of the turbo and you got the cold side of the turbo. The hot side of the turbo, think of as the water wheel on a water mill. You know, you got a stream coming down, you got the mill right here for grinding corn, okay? And you got that big wheel that turns, water hits on the top and the weight of the water pulls and makes the wheel turn, a water wheel on a mill, okay? Think of the hot side of the turbo as the outside water air and the water pushing on that wheel, pushing on the fin on the turbo. That's what gives the turbo power. Then there's a shaft that goes through to the cold side of the turbo. It's not cold, but it's the cooler side of the turbo, okay? So you got all this heat on one side of the turbo, that heat transfers over to the other side of the turbo. That side of the turbo is the air pump, okay? So you got exhaust turning the little propellers on one side, shaft goes through and there's propellers on the other side that are sucking air in, compressing them, turbocharging them, compressing the air, and it goes into the intake. Well, they realized with hot air, there's not as many air molecules. The hotter the air is, the farther the molecules are apart, right? So when you have hot air, there's less oxygen. If you can cool that air back down, you can pack more oxygen in. More oxygen means you can put more fuel to it, makes more power. That's called an intercooler. So what they do is the turbo spins from exhaust, gets hot, pumps the air. The cold side of the turbo is hot also, but cooler, okay? That's why they call it the cold side. But it's hot, air's going through, the air heats up, and also when you compress things, they get hot. When you decompress, they get cold. You're right here. Right there. Hear that? Oh, right here. Hear that? That's gas coming out. That's cool, okay? It's not lit, so it's cool, okay? All right. When gases escape, they cool down. That's why, like an aerosol can is cold. Air coming out of a compressor, you know, air compressor, or a tire sitting out in a nice, you know, warm day, and you take the valve core out, the air going from 100 pounds of compressed air in a semi-tire coming out real fast, the valve stem will freeze over because it's so cold because it's decompressing, okay? So when you cool the air off, it has more oxygen, therefore more oxygen can go in the engine, therefore you can put more fuel to it. So the way to cool that off is it comes out of the turbo, and instead of going straight to the engine, it goes through this little radiator thing called an intercooler, or on a cat they call it an air-to-air, okay? And it's this little radiator that sits in front of the regular antifreeze radiator, the water radiator. It sits in front. It's usually the first thing the air hits. So you got, driving down the highway, you got 75-degree air blowing through the radiator, and you got 160-degree hot air going through the intercooler. By the time it goes through the intercooler, it's cooled down to 80 degrees. More air can go into the engine, make more horsepower. Those, because they're the very first thing, comes a bug or a rock chip or a piece of sand debris. You ever ride a motorcycle, you feel all the little rock chips hitting your, you know, okay, hitting your arms and stuff. That all hits that intercooler. Therefore, you might get a little hole. Well, there's no liquid in it, it's air, so you don't see a leak. So when you have a chance to pull that off for some reason, pressurize it. They have it's called a pressure check, and they put pressure on it, or they put valves on, air hoses on it, and pressurize it, turn it off, and let's see if it holds the air. If it holds the air like a tire holding the air, great. But if it doesn't hold the air and it leaks off and the pressure goes down, it means there's a hole somewhere. So they've got a way to find that hole, and they solder it, braze it, whatever. They braze it and close that hole up. It's called pressure checking your intercooler. Okay. So anyway, they're going to pressure check the intercooler. They're going to clean and refurbish whatever the radiator, new antifreeze, new belts, new hoses, because all that, when you're taking it off, why put an old hose on, put a brand new hose on. While we're in there, don't need it, but while you're in there, put a new water pump in, okay? Sitting right there. Couple bolts, comes off, put a new one on, boom, okay? They don't cost that much, and if it goes out 2 months from now, the water pump goes out, guess what? You gotta take all this stuff back apart just to get in there and redo that. So if you're in there, go ahead and change it. Okay, it's a smart move. I don't know how much a water pump costs, but let's say this water pump costs $100. Okay, spend the $100. Even though the pump that's on there is fine, put a new one on there, because if you don't and that pump goes bad, you got to take all this labor to get all this stuff off. So you're going to spend $300 worth of labor to put a $100 water pump on. Other things like alternator, starter, and all that you can get to through the dog box or from underneath the truck or bus, but the water pump and all that kind of stuff is right up front. Fix it while you're there. See, there was other things that's on my phone. I had a list of other things. The air conditioner compressors, their AC compressors are underneath there. They're kind of down really low on the engine. There's two of them. I guess one for each side. Remember the air conditioners right here, 1 and 2. Okay, on a bus, there's no air conditioner in the dash. The air conditioners are up on the roof, on the ceiling inside of some buses. Not a lot of them. You're down here in Texas and Arizona and places like that, they like to put air conditioners in. If you're in Minnesota, they're not going to have air conditioners in a school bus, okay? Because they just don't need it. You just open the windows, okay? I remember as a kid in Kansas, we never had air conditioners in the bus. It was never hot enough. Especially during the summer when it was really hot, we weren't going to school anyway. Okay, so anyway, this is a church bus, so they wanted the little old ladies to be comfortable, so they put air conditioning in it. When I bought it from the guy, he said the air conditioners don't work. He had never done it. He says they just don't work. He owned the bus for about a year, was going to build like I'm doing, but he just couldn't get around to it. He's too busy with life. And he says, you know, I'm not going to do anything. Let's go ahead and sell it and let somebody else build it out. I'll buy a bus later on. So he never got around to fixing it or anything. He says when he bought it, the air conditioners didn't work, and who he bought it from, they claimed that they'd tried to fix it several times. They worked for a little while and they break. They worked for a little while and they break. It was an ongoing headache. Main thing is because it's such a huge system, it uses so much coolant, Freon or whatever. It uses so much of that, and it's a big system, therefore it's easy to leak. You know, because not only did it have these two units here, this is driver. Whoop! I dropped my pipe. Damn it! I hate when that happens. All right, sit back down. Right there, that's the driver's side. That's the passenger side, I think. And then his is underneath the bus. This is way at the back of the bus. So it's got the line's got to run from the front of the engine all the way back to those things, cool everything off, and then go to that, or no, go from the engine to this, okay, condenser, and then that cools the Freon off, and then it goes through those and cools the air off, and then it goes from there back up to the engine. And the lines are huge, long. It's just a really big, massive system, and they just have all kinds of trouble with them. And when you do have trouble with them, it's just so much Freon you got to either capture and reuse, or if you leak it all out, then you get a huge Freon bill. They're just not worth having. They just don't work very good. You know, when they work, but they break a lot. And it seems like anybody I've ever heard of that had air conditioning in a bus, from factory air conditioning, they break all the time. It's, hell, half the time they're never working, and you're just constantly in the shop getting air conditioners fixed. it worked. So, and after that, just a general overview. Take the wheels off, look at the drums, you know, the brakes on the front. It's got disc brakes on the front, drum brakes on the back, air brakes, but they're disc on the front. I don't know anything about those disc brakes. Have him open it, just look. I says, think about it this way. If this was your bus and you're getting ready to go cross country with it, you see something that might break or you think, man, that looks questionable, let me know. I says, another thing is sitting on this perfectly flat slab here in the shop, the bus, 1 inch. But the driver's side set about 1 inch lower than the passenger side. And there's nothing, the fuel tank's in the center. There was no seats, nothing in it. Everything was, you know, there was no balance one way or the other. Like this is heavier on this side because this is where the fuel tank is or something. There was no reason for it to be leaning ever so slightly. That gives you an idea that maybe the leaf springs, there's like 5 leaf springs, maybe one of those springs is broke. And therefore it's not as strong and it's limping on one side, you know. I said, just look through and see if you see anything like that, you know, just that type of stuff. Look at the steering, the knuckles on the tie rod, things like that. See if it was your bus, would you fix it? And let me know, and then I'll decide whether I want to fix it or not. But just all these little things, mechanics are good at looking at that because they see it all the time. They know, well, I look at it and go, well, that looks a little loose. And they go, no, they're supposed to be like that. Oh, okay. Or, that's good enough. Yeah, no problem. Oh my God, that's about ready to fall off, Stan. Oh, okay. So mechanics are good at that kind of stuff. Let them make that decision, you know. Let them find it and let me make the decision whether to fix it or not with their suggestion, you know. I'm just all about fix it at that shop because that shop rate is $105 an hour shop rate. Let them fix it there because if it don't fix it here and I'm getting out there in New Mexico, driving along and something breaks, now I'm sitting on the side of the road, tie rod's broke, wheels are like this, and I gotta go get a wrecker tow bill, and service out on the road. Now I'm sitting there with Pam and I, now we gotta get a hotel while they work on it. It adds up. It's much cheaper to pay him $100 to fix it here than to fix it out on the road. And that's semis, that's everything. Much rather fix it with your local mechanic that is just shop rate rather than all the service fee. He'll say you don't need a wrecker, but he has to come out on a service. Now it's $110 shop rate plus $110 service fee plus mileage plus this and plus, I got to run back to town to get this part and come all the way back out. That's more mileage, more fees, more blah, blah, you know. And he's fixing it on the side of the road and we're sitting there for 2 days waiting for him to show up and fix it, you know. So I'd much rather fix it here, get it done here. Also I'm going to do all this, but I told him to simplify the water. All those water hoses that we're going back to the heaters, which are right there, those are the heaters. They sit underneath the seats back there behind the rear axle wheel tubs. The seat behind that is where those sit, okay? And there was the heaters. Well, I don't need the heaters in there, so I took them out. They were just in the way. I mean, I could use them, but that's right where the water tanks need to go. If I move them from there to there, now they're in the way of where the shower is going to go or where the closet's going to be. They're in the way, okay? So I didn't want the heater. I got the heater in the dash and that's it. So while we're driving, sitting up front, got the heater blowing out and try to keep us a little bit warm there. But the idea is not to go where it's real cold, go where the weather's nice. You remember? Okay, so anyway, with all that said, I just told him give it a good overview, try to find, like if it was yours. If it was yours, is that something you're concerned with? And if it is, give me a call and we'll talk about putting new springs on it or whatnot else, okay? Oh man, these the drive shaft, the U-joints on the drive shaft are all bad. You know, that type of stuff. Go, just give it a good overview and try to find things that are wrong with it and we'll decide whether to fix that or not, you know. So anyway, drove it up there this morning, dropped it off, Pam came and got me, brought me back here to the truck, or to my van. I went to start the truck. Batteries are dead, so it's out there charging. And maybe when I get done with this video, I'll go out there and it'll start. Maybe. This started working, so, you know. Sometimes you just sit and wait and it fixes itself. No. My God, we've been on here an hour and a half. Wow. All right. All right, folks, I think it's time to go. I was going to do a 30-minute video today. So, yeah, there you go. Yeah, dreamer. Let's see. Been waiting for a month for a mechanic to finish water pump on my motorhome. Had to pull radiator to get it out. Seems pulling on power steering. Yeah. So, I haven't caught you live since the convoy days. I think I've managed to keep up, but wondering what happened with the guy who was walking across. Oh, Gray Wolf. Gray Wolf, last I talked to him was Wednesday or Thursday last week. I can't remember which day it was. Anyway, I talked to him and he was, he messed up his shoulder, his rotator cuff in his shoulder. He pulled a tendon or something, screwed something up in his arm. He said he got out of the RV somewhere and the wind was blowing. He was opening the door to the RV, and as he opened it, the wind caught it and pulled, and it messed up his arm. So the last I talked to him, he was in Hannibal, Missouri, still walking cross country. So Hannibal, Missouri is what, halfway across roughly? So he was in Hannibal, Missouri, and he was pretty down that day. I don't know, I'm not saying he was down in general on everything. I think his shoulder was bothering him, so I think he was kind of down about that. He's like, damn it, you know. Anyway, he was going to leave the next day, whatever day it was I talked to him, Wednesday, I think, or something. He was going to leave the next day and drive down to St. Louis and have it looked at by a doctor, do an MRI or something like that, and look at it and find out what's wrong with it. And so he was a little down on that, but he was still just as motivated or whatever about the walk, you know, walking across country. He's modified his plan a little bit. He's not walking 100% across country. He kind of realized, you know, I'm out here in the middle of nowhere in the country for 3 days walking from point A to point B. It takes me 3 days to walk across there, and I'm not getting any message out during those days. So what he decided to do is drive from point A to point B. Once you get to this town, he gets to a town where the mayor and the chief of police or the city council or whatever is sympathetic to his cause. Because you go to some towns and you got the big D's running it. You go to other towns and you got the big R's running it. So you go to a town that has Republicans running it, they're kind of sympathetic to his cause. You go to a town that has Democrats running it, they don't want to talk to him. So he picks and chooses the towns that, you know, are sympathetic to his cause, and he gets in there and he'll give a little speech, I guess, or try to get some people gathered around the town square, go to the city council or whatever, you know. And he's trying to get information about the masks. No, it's not about the mask mandates. It's gone. Nobody's wearing masks anymore. It's not about the masks, and it's not about the injection, okay? It's about the Emergency Powers Act, and they still have it going. They renewed it indefinitely. And with that, it's not, the hard thing is it's not affecting a lot of people, because a lot of people don't even realize that's going on. So they're like, what do we care, okay? The problem is, as long as they have the Emergency Powers Act, it's basically they've taken a lot of your rights away from you, and most of America is not aware of it. That's what his walk is about, trying to make people aware of the dirty dealings that they're doing with us up there in DC, and we're not aware, most people aren't aware of it. He's trying to raise awareness of it. That's what the convoy was all about. The convoy, everybody thought, well, You know, the convoy, you're going to DC so you won't have to wear masks. And most people weren't wearing masks. I mean, California still was, New York was, a few other states. They were still wearing a mask, but everybody was like, why are you going to DC in the semis, the big convoy, because of masks? That's stupid. It had nothing to do with masks. Mask was just a symptom. It had to do with that Emergency Powers Act, okay? It was all about the Emergency Powers Act. And from what I understand is during the middle of 2020, Trump put that in because of what was going on, and everybody was unsure about what's going on with this whole pandemic crap, you know. And he put it in for, let's say, 6 months or something like that. Well, then he was out of office, and Biden got in there, and he renewed it for another 6 months. That was while we were on the convoy. While we're toward the end of the convoy, he renewed it again indefinitely. It didn't go like another 6 months. It's just, they put it in. And I wish I could talk more intelligently about it than that. I'm not good at talking about that type of stuff, but I can sit there and listen to Ron, Gray Wolf. He's very well versed in it, and he'll sit there and he'll tell you the whole everything about it. Maybe that's what I'll do here Wednesday or Thursday or something. The bus will be in the shop. I won't have anything to talk about. Maybe I'll come out here and I'll call people like Ron and who else was it I was going to talk? I talked to Mud Pig right before this video here. I talked to Mud Pig. He's up there. His truck is broke down with the emissions stuff is wrong, and they're waiting on a part, and his truck's sitting there, and so he rented a Mack. He rented a Mack, and he's out there pulling that sugar like Mike is doing. Mike Landis was doing, he's the guy in the cab over. Mike was hauling his sugar, and Mud Pig heard him, and he called him up and said, yeah, come on up here and haul some sugar with me. So that's what Mud Pig's been doing. But now his truck broke down, and he thought, well, while the truck's in the shop, he went and rented a Mack. And he says, it's the most gutless truck he's ever driven, no power. He says, he hadn't got a load on there, just an empty trailer. He says, it won't even get it. It doesn't have enough power to get out of its own way. So anyway, he's not happy with the Mack. But anyway, I talked to Mud Pig last week. I talked to him, and we were talking, and the subject came up, what we're doing and all that, and he asked me about that stuff I was doing up in Milwaukee, and I'm like, yeah, and shit, I think they're looking for drivers, so yeah, if you're interested, I can throw your name out to them. So he said, yeah, well, let me go home and talk to the old lady, or his wife. Let me go home and talk to her. And by the time I got back to the house, he'd sent me a message. He goes, hell yeah, she wants to go. That's great. She's right. Can we go tomorrow? Okay, well, if you're interested. So I got him in touch, and he talked to him, and he's got his application in. They're doing all their background checking and whatever that they do. And so it might not be too much longer. Mud Pig will be over doing what I'm going to be doing. So in the meantime, he said I can take the Mack back. I can jump on this. There's a tour that's on right now that I wasn't interested in doing because I need to get this bus done. But they have a tour going on right now that they need a driver for. And it's driving a semi. And he's like, yeah, that sounds good to me. So I don't want to get too detailed on that. But anyway, when I first told the guys about Mud Pig, and they're going, yeah, he's a CDL driver. Yep, yeah. How long has he been driving? I don't know. I have no idea. He's long enough to be an owner-operator, though. He goes, oh, okay. So anyway, they're talking to him and whatever. So there's probably a real good chance that he'll come over and start doing what I'm doing when I'm doing it. I'm going to do it part-time. He might do it full-time or most of the time or whatever, But anyway. So maybe we got Mud Pig squared away on something. He might be happy with that. I'm not sure. We'll see. There's Gray Wolf. I talked to him, like I said, last week, and he had torn ligament in his rotator cuff. What else? I haven't talked to anybody else like Marcus or Mike or Brian or any of them. Haven't talked to any of them in quite a while. I haven't talked to Brian since the convoy. Last time in personal, you know, this was last time I talked to him. I talked to Mike, I think twice since the convoy finished. I talked to him twice, I think. I've talked to Marcus 3 or 4 times. I talked to Joe out there, first responder. I talked to him 2 weeks ago. Talked to him about his accident and everything. Not on camera or nothing. Just talked to him, just him and I talking. And said he's just kind of back to regular what he was always doing. You know, just his regular work. Got a new car, not a new one, but new to him, used car, and just plugging along, trying to make enough money to pay bills. So, you know, just like what everybody's doing. Trying to think who else. Anybody else you want to talk about? There's Joe, yeah. Mechanic Eric. Last I heard from Mechanic Eric, he was up in Sheboygan, Wisconsin. And when I went up to the UP on the way back, I stopped, had dinner with him, and just sat around and chat for the evening for about 4 hours, sitting in this restaurant, and just sat around and bullshit. You know, had dinner and just, you know, caught up kind of thing. I haven't talked to him on the phone or anything, but I haven't talked to him since then. But he's back home doing his normal thing, just plugging away. Just like I said, people after the convoy, everybody's kind of back home doing their regular thing, what they were doing before the convoy. And someday, maybe something else will come up, some other type of event like the convoy, and we'll all join back up again. I don't know. It's kind of in the future, see what happens. But somebody sent me an email, not an email, a comment or something, asking me, am I going to join the 1776 movement? I think that's kind of over, I think. I don't know. I don't know what Santa and all them, I don't know what they're doing. I have no idea. I've completely lost track of what's going on with them. So I don't know. But yeah, the convoy stuff, all that, everything with the convoy, I met some good friends, and I kind of keep touch with the people that I kind of became friends with, and just that's about it. So yeah, that's all there is to that. What else? Mechanic Eric is in the chat. Cool. Hey, Eric. Hey, Eric. How you? If you're here, I don't see you here, but let's see. Yeah, there he is. I'm in the chat. LOL. Hi, how you doing? Yeah. So, but yeah. You know, Eric, he's a good. How do you want to call it? He's one of them good old boys. You know, he's just a nice guy. Kind of like Mud Pig, just a nice guy. You know, he's nicer than I am. Get it that way. You know, the problem with Mud Pig is he's still young enough to still be. He's not a cynical old man like me. I'm becoming a cynical old man. I see something on the news and I go, oh, whatever. You know. And he's like still optimistic about stuff. And I'm just like, you know. So Eric's kind of the same way. Let's see, 1776 is still active. They took it back to the States. Okay, thank you, Kathleen. Appreciate it. Let's see, many of them are coming to the convoy honor. We need you to come to the convoy reunion. Okay, I have to learn what that's all about. CDC's trying to mandate that all kids in schools, all public schools have to have jabs, probably private schools too. Why are they pushing it so hard? Why? Why are they pushing that so stinking hard? There's got to be something underlying that we don't know about, that why they're pushing it so hard. And I just, yeah, it was a good idea. You Jewish people, come over and you get in this building over here. Very good idea. We get rid of the lice in your hair. Yes, come on over. Strip all your clothes down. Go naked. You walk into this room. Very good idea. Yeah. They're pushing it too damned hard. You understand what I'm saying? They're pushing it so stinking hard. the Nazis pushed the Jews into that gas chamber. Say, oh, it's a shower room. Had it all made up look like a shower room. We're going to go in there and we're going to put delouse you. Okay. You know, it's just whenever a government pushes that hard on something, red flags go up and I go, whoa, no, something's going on here. I don't trust them. I just don't trust them. So that's, I think we've already talked about that a million times. Okay, Illinois, Gray Wolf is in Illinois hiking east of DC. I need to call him. I'll probably call him this week sometime. See how he's doing, how his arm's doing. 4th through 12th in Branson, Missouri. Okay. Pollution control. Yeah, Scott, there you go. Thank you, Scott Rollins. Don't need to say anything more than that. Thank you. That's what I was never much of a, what's the word? Conspiracy theorist. You know, there's all these conspiracies that Roswell, New Mexico was alien spacecraft landed and they got, you know, the Area 51 is where they're hiding the alien bodies and, okay, whatever, okay. Bigfoot, oh, Bigfoot's real, yeah. Whatever. Yeti's real. Loch Ness Monster. Well, I was never one of those that come on, people, you know, just your imagination's running wild with you. You know, should I even go there? Tuskegee? Remember Tuskegee? Yeah, come on, you black guys, come on over here and get in here. We're going to give you all these shots and do all this stuff, experimenting on people. I just got such a bad feeling about this whole mandated COVID crap. I'm telling you, folks, I'm telling you, this video will be out there forever. Mark my words on this. There will be a day, 40 years from now, there will be a day when my grandkids are going to be watching TV and they're going to be watching the History Channel or whatever's available at that time, okay? They're going to be watching a podcast or something that's not even invented yet, okay? 3D view or whatever, 3D TV, whatever. And there's going to be a documentary. They'll have documentaries by still then. And there's going to be a documentary about the 2020 BS that we've been through the last couple of years. And it's all going to be exposed, and they're going to how did America fall for that? How did the world fall for that? How could they be so stupid to fall for this shit? You know, just like today. Remember Orson Welles and War of the Worlds? How were people so stupid to fall for that when in the radio broadcast they're advertising it and saying this is a drama, it's a Halloween drama, okay, of the War of the Worlds broadcast. And people were going nuts and going out there and committing suicide because they thought the real aliens from Mars were coming in. The Martians are attacking. Oh my God, it's real. And during the commercials, they would sit there and say, this is a made-up broadcast. It's for fun. It's a Halloween thing. And we have documentaries now talking about that. You can go back and watch documentaries about that. There's going to be 40, 50 years from now, there's going to be documentaries talking about this time frame of what the governments have done to us and everything. And my grandkids, your grandkids, the kids that are 10, 12 years old now, they're going to be 50 then. And they're going to be watching this going, how could great-grandpa be so stupid? How could people be so damn dumb back then to fall for this crap? Mark my words. There will be a day. I need more tobacco. So, that's why I don't want it. I don't trust them. When the doctors that actually invented the crap, and I won't say his name because it'll get blocked on YouTube, but you know who I'm talking about. Starts with an M. You remember the basketball star, Karl Malone? Remember him? Okay. Well, this is Dr., but take away Carl. That might have got me blocked anyway. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, he invented the crap. And he says, no, we shouldn't be giving this to people because we haven't tested it. So he says, nope, you ain't putting my name on this and getting a bunch of people killed. So he come out and started speaking about it, and they have just vilified him to no end. And all he's saying is, hey, we need to test this before we put it out into the public. That's all he's saying. Hey, me and his team, we developed this, and you guys didn't go through your testing that you're supposed to. We're going to find out that this stuff is really not, not good for you. Don't care. We got to do something. I'm a politician. If I don't do anything, I won't get reelected. So let's do something. Even though it's probably bad for everybody, let's do it anyway because I need to get reelected. That's what happens when you let politicians run shit. Look at World War II. The generals ran World War II. Bing, bang, boom, boom, and the Nazis are gone. Well, Vietnam, the politicians ran shit. There you go. Am I pissing anybody off yet? Well, let's see. Yeah. Brenda, well, the way things crap is going, I wouldn't and won't take any jabs for anything. Yep, there you go. Freedom thumbs. Oh, you guys are great. Yeah. Oh, something was on me. What was it? Thursday or Thursday? I tried to do a Thursday. Thursday was the last live stream, right? I go home Thursday evening. I'm watching the news. Oh, you can't write this shit. God, you can't write this stuff. I go home, I walk in, and the news is on, right? And the news is on, and they're talking, and Biden is on the news. Hell, America, I'm 100 years old, and I'm about ready to die anyway. He's telling okay. He comes on with a platform when he first gets elected. He first gets elected. That's another thing I heard on the way out here this morning. That's another, anyway, first things first. He runs on a platform that, hey, when I get in office, we're gonna get rid of oil. We're gonna get rid of carbon fuels and blah, blah, blah. And we're gonna, switch over to all electric cars and hydrogen cells and all this, zero emissions everything. We're gonna clean this planet up because we're killing this planet because the planet's getting hotter. Hey, dumbass, the planet's been getting hotter for the last 10,000 years. If you remember, Minnesota was under about 2 miles of ice. I'm watching a documentary on TV that's been on lately. It's called The Great Lakes. It's all about the Great Lakes up there, and it's a nature documentary with the owls and the wolves and all the stuff around the Great Lakes and the fish and the thing. Anyway, it's really beautiful, beautiful photography and everything. Beautiful. And they're sitting there talking about for 100 million years or some shit like that, there was an ice sheet coming down out off the North Pole, came all the way across all of Canada was covered for the most part. Maybe Vancouver wasn't, but most of Canada was under ice, most of it. All the way down into Minnesota, North Dakota, New York, you know. And the Great Lakes were frozen solid, and a big ice sheet went across there, and that's what scraped all the dirt over into, you know, the ice sheet, you know, the glacier, the glacial movement, okay? And it all came down into North America, not North America, in the United States area. Canada was completely covered with a mile thickest sheet of ice. Minnesota was covered with a mile or half mile of ice, and it come down to maybe Iowa line, okay? And it stopped, and it sat there for hundreds of thousands of years, you know, hundreds of, you know, millions of years. It sat there and sat there and sat there. And something happened 10,000 years ago. Something drastically happened, and all of a sudden, within 10,000 years, all that ice receded. So if it's cold, it's really cold like that for all these years. We're talking a million years or something, they say, right? And it's completely covered with ice. And then all of a sudden, in a blink of an eye, 10,000 years in the life of Earth, 10,000 years is that long, okay? In 10,000 years, all that ice recedes. It's warming. Something happened and it warmed up. Don't know what it is. I don't think it was internal combustion engines 10,000 years ago. Something happened, a volcano, a meteor, something happened, and it heated the world up, okay? Maybe the sun got hotter. I don't know. We weren't around back then, so, but they can go out and drill a hole in the ice and go, yep. This ice sample tells that the woolly mammoth had hair that long. How the hell do they know? I mean, just the assumptions they come up with are just, scientists. And if you think about it, science, until it's proven, it's all theory. It's all theory. It's all theory until they prove it, okay? Anyway, so in 10,000 years, all this ice melts and recedes up into northern Canada, up on what we have now and so just because we started burning gas about 100 years ago, 150, 200 years ago, we had the Industrial Revolution. Started putting coal, burning coal, fire, you know, coal plants and everything like that to run textile mills or whatever, you know. So in the last 200 years, we've dirtied the air, but it's been thawing out for 10,000 years. You think it's our fault? Really? I mean, think about it, folks. You really think it's our fault? No, it's that evil son of a bitch America. It's that evil son of a bitch America that's got too many nice cars and too nice of a lifestyle compared to the rest of the world. We need to kill that off somehow. And there's politicians here that fall into that, go, yep, I think you're right. I think instead of bringing India and Bangladesh, instead of bringing them up to our standards, let's lower our standards down to them. God, just, yeah, I'm on a rant right now. I'm on a roll. Okay, so here's Biden. He comes in and says, we're going to get rid of all the oil, we're going to get rid of all the coal, we're going to clean everything up, and we're going to pass all these laws that mandate you have to get an electric car. You can't buy a gas engine in California next year, 5, 10 years, whatever it is. They're going to quit selling gasoline cars, and eventually they're going to outlaw gasoline cars altogether in California. I don't know what year that is, okay? So here's this president that says he's going to clean everything up and blah, 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 blah. So he shuts down the pipelines. He shuts down all the fracking on public lands. The oil companies go, well, shit. Well, that cuts it down quite a bit. Gas prices go up. Conveniently, he's got a son over there in Russia talking in the Kremlin's ear going, hey, why don't you start a war over here? That way they can blame the gas prices and all this shit that's going on with our economy. They can blame it on what's going on over in that country. What the hell's the name of it? I can't remember. Anyway. You know where I'm talking about, folks. What's the name of that town where they're the country? You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, somebody will put it here. I've got a brain fart. Right? Ukraine, thank you. Thank you, Dave. Ukraine. So what's going on? Conveniently, they got a war going on there, so Biden can say, no, all the gas prices, they're all way up because of Ukraine. Yeah, that's why it's all up. Has nothing to do with me turning off the fucking spigot. It's just, okay, so he's in denial. No, it's nothing I did. It's nothing I did with turning off the spigot here in America. It's all because of what's going on in Ukraine. That's why oil prices are up. That's why everything's going through the frickin' roof price-wise, and the economy is taking a dump, and inflation is going through the frickin' roof. It has nothing to do with, hey, let's go out and print a whole bunch of money, which they don't print it. They just go to the computer and go like that, and now you got $1 billion more in the economy. Guess what? Causes inflation. But it has nothing to do with that. No, it has nothing to do. It's all because of what's going on in Ukraine. Hogwash. Okay? You call what? Ukraine week. Yeah, there you go, bam, bam, that's another one. Yeah, and the science, he says if the scientists actually told the truth, they'd lose all their funding that they get from the government. Okay? So anyway, it has nothing to do, it's all because of Ukraine. It has nothing to do with me turning off the spigot, turning off all the, you can't frack here, you can't pump here, you can't drill there, okay? We'll turn off all of that and then blame it on Ukraine. And that's why the fuel prices are going up. Fuel prices go up, shipping costs cost more, everything costs more, blah, 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 makes the prices go up. And then let's pump a whole bunch, hey, I'm not gonna raise your taxes. Because if I raise your taxes, you won't vote for me next year. So, I need some money though. I can't raise taxes. I know. I'll just tell the Fed to print up a bunch of money. So they go out and print up a bunch of money, so they can come back and say, I never raised your taxes. Ain't I wonderful? Yes, but you printed a bunch of money and my $100 is worth about $60 now. God, people, don't you see it? Then, after all of that, I go home Thursday night. I walk in and they're talking on the news. He's sitting there doing his speech. He gave a speech earlier that afternoon. This is a replay on the news. And they're talking, he's begging the oil companies, the evil oil companies. He's begging the oil companies to increase production. Wait a minute. Why are you wanting them to increase production when you want to get rid of them? Wait a minute. 2 years ago, you wanted to kill all the oil companies and kill all the coal and kill all the anything carbon related. You wanted to kill it all. Here it is, 2 weeks before a freaking election. All of a sudden, please, oil companies, help me out by lowering the gas prices so I can get reelected. And not me, but all my friends can get reelected. Do you see it, folks? I mean, God. Oh. You talk about hypocritical. God almighty, that you can't write this stuff. I'm not writing any of this. This is all just, you know. And then, get this. Hey, evil oil companies, you dirty son of a bitch bastards, you sorry, no good crap, blah, blah, blah. We hate you. I want to kill you guys. I want to take all your business away from you. But could you help me out for the next couple weeks, please? And increase production so the oil prices go down. The gas prices go down 5 cents at the pump. It'll make me look good so all my people can get reelected and keep me in power. But as soon as that's over, I'm going to go right back to you evil bastards. God. Oh, you can't make it up. You just can't make it up. Oh, Trudeau. What? Uh-oh, somebody talking about Trudeau. Trudeau and Biden need a one-way ticket to the moon. Oh, you feel better now, see? Yes. No, I don't feel better. I wish, God. And you see stuff on what do they call them, memes? You see them on Facebook all the time. Somebody took a picture of the gas prices 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, when Trump was in, before all this crap happened. It was $1.67 for unleaded and, you know, $1.98 for diesel. 2 years. 2 years. Everything's so screwed up. You know, as a kid growing up, I didn't know much about Carter. I just knew he was a bad president from history, people talking about it. But when I was a kid, I didn't pay any attention. When Carter was in, God, I was what, 6 and 8 years old, 10 years old, whatever. And when was Carter in? From 76 to 80? Yeah, 76 to 80. I would have been 12 to 18, 12 to 16, 12 to 16. 12 to 16 years old. You don't pay attention to any of that. You know, it's on the news. Dad would bitch and moan about it, but it's like, oh, here's Dad hollering and screaming. Well, I'm going to go out and play. You know, I'll go outside, you know, play with a dog or something. And I didn't pay any attention to Carter. I just knew that they teased him a lot because he was a peanut farmer and he wore blue jeans in the White House. Okay, whatever. As I got older, got a little bit more interested in political stuff and, you know, the news and whatnot. I was probably about 30 before I started getting interested in this stuff. But anyway, I started getting interested and started watching back and seeing some of the shit that Carter did and how bad of a president. And I'm thinking to myself, well, good thing we're rid of him. And I'm not saying Carter was a bad guy. I think he's a nice guy. He's just so misinformed on, you know, on policy, you know. I'm sure he was a nice fella. You'd go down and have a beer with him or something. He's probably a nice fella. You know, and he's done a lot of really good work for Habitat for Humanity and things like that type of stuff, where they build the houses and stuff. You know, I'm sure he's a nice guy. He means well and all that kind of stuff, but he just, God, you know, is he even alive anyway? Is Carter's still alive, I think, isn't he? He's getting old. He's up in the 90s. I think Carter's still alive. Isn't he? Anyway, but it just, I thought to myself, I look back and I think, you know, well, we'll never have a president that bad ever again. History's being made right now, folks. The best thing that ever happened with Jimmy Carter was his brother, Billy. And Billy Beer. You remember Billy Beer? Oh. Yeah. Gee, I was president of the United States, and in 4 years, the best thing that ever came out of that was my drunken brother got a beer named after him. I can't make it up, folks. You can't make it up. Carter was so weak on foreign policy and stuff. Remember the Iran hostage crisis and all that? Wouldn't even talk to the man. Reagan gets in and he says, all right, get ready to push the button. We're launching. Oh, no, here's your hostages back. You can have them back now. Talk softly and carry a big stick. Who was that? Teddy Roosevelt? I think it was Teddy Roosevelt, wasn't it? Walk softly or talk softly? Walk softly and carry a big stick. Two hours. My 30-minute video is 2 hours now. Anyway, he was better at growing peanuts. He's 96 now and in a wheelchair. Thank you, Brenda. Thank you. Billy Beer. Oh, man. I'm looking through the comments here. It's kind of hard to read them. Oh. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Now, I've never heard this anywhere. Let's go back to the vaccine crap. I've never heard this anywhere. This is my little theory, my little conspiracy theory, okay, about why they're pushing this stuff so hard. You know, oh, we got to get your kids vaccinated now. Somebody made a comment on it's population control, and I tend to agree with this. It's a concern of mine, a big concern of mine. You've heard of the Georgia Guidestones. I keep going back, and nobody seems to talk about them much, but the Georgia Guidestones, back about 4 or 5 months ago, somebody took a bomb and blew the damn things up. Good. And finally they dozed them and got rid of them. But the Georgia Guidestones were over in Georgia, kind of northeast Georgia, some little town out there. And some private, unspoken investor came over and bought some land, I don't know, 5 acres, 10 acres of land, something like that. They bought some land through a realtor guy. Nobody knows who he is. The realtor guy, they know who he is, but he's not speaking. I think either he's about ready to die or he just died or something like that. And he never told anybody who paid him to do this. But he went in to this local town and bought some acreage with their money, but quietly, you know, hidden investor, okay? They came in and bought this land and they put it in whatever company name or whatever, and nobody knows who actually owned the land. But they bought this land and then they built these little monuments out there, and they're called the Georgia Guidestones. The Georgia Guidestones are basically the New World Order's 10 Commandments. And what they did is they put these monoliths, these big tall pillars of granite, or I think granite or marble or something like that, big stone monuments, kind of like Stonehenge or something like that, right? They're like great big tombstones or something, you know, the quarried rock. And there's 4 of them. Well, there's 2 sides to each one of them, so there's 8 sides. So they got the 8 most common languages in the world: English, Spanish, Russian, Hindu, Chinese, Mandarin, whatever. It goes through the most popular languages in the world. And on one of them, it's in English. The rest of them are all different languages. It says the same thing, just in a different language. And there's a list of 10 items that they want to accomplish in this world. And the number one commandment or guidestones, get it? The number one guide is to get the human population down to 500 million people and sustain that. How are you going to do that? It's 8 billion people in the world now, roughly. 8 billion people down to 500 million. That's 1 in every 16. Out of 16 people, they want to kill 15 of them. They want to get the world population down to a manageable, sustained population of 500 million people. I can almost go along with that. Too many people in the world anyway, right? Wouldn't have as many mouths to feed. Wouldn't have near as much gas for all the cars for people to drive. Wouldn't need to have all the power plants and the factories, the coal, the natural gas, whatever you want to use, solar, you know. They could probably make solar work. If you only had 500 million people in the world, solar would probably work. So wind power would probably work. Not with 800 billion, or 8 billion. 8 billion people, it's just not enough. So, all these things that the green movement, the environmentalists and the left-wing nut jobs, all the people, or all the objectives they have. We want to get rid of internal combustion cars, you know, air pollution. We want water. We're running out of water. Look at Phoenix, look at Las Vegas, look at Southern California, all this, the Southwest. A lot of people down there. If you didn't have as many people down there, you'd have plenty of water, wouldn't you? There's only so much rain. There's only so much snow that hits Colorado, that gets into Colorado and goes down through the Grand Canyon. There's only a certain amount. It's a finite amount of water every year. Some years is a lot, some years is a little. You know, average it out, there's enough water. But you got so many people out there sucking from that same pool of water they're running out of water. Look at Lake Mead. Okay, so you suck all that. If you get rid of all the people, you wouldn't need all the water, would you? And if you got rid of all the people, you wouldn't have to feed them, right? Yeah. And if we come up with some bullshit thing to say, hey, this is causing all these problems, global warming. We get rid of if we come up with some cause and people get behind it, they'll go, yeah, we can get all this other infrastructure in there and we'll straighten it all out because we're bad people. We're bad people because we're burning fossil fuels. We're burning carbon fuels. We're bad people for that. But if we didn't have as many people, we wouldn't have to burn as much oil. We wouldn't have to burn as much coal. We wouldn't have to burn as much everything. We wouldn't have to have all the water for the food. We wouldn't have to have all the water for the drinking. We wouldn't have to have see how it just keeps going. If we just got rid of the people. Now the people that are behind this, they look at humans as an infestation. No different than cockroaches in your kitchen. You got a bunch of cockroaches in your kitchen, you pull the refrigerator out, oh my God, roaches scatter everywhere. They look at humans as those cockroaches. We need to stomp them out. Aren't you one of those cockroaches? Mr. Biden, Mr. Soros, Mr. Gates, aren't you a cockroach too? No, but I'm a good cockroach. You kill all the rest of them, leave me alone. So, in every one of these movies, every one of these Hollywood movies where there's some mega disaster going to happen, Armageddon, okay, Independence Day, not so much because that was aliens attacking us, but all the ones where Deep Impact, Armageddon, Greenland, all these kind of movies where, Moonfall. Moonfall is another one that just came out here recently. There are all these movies. Greenland's a perfect example of one. If you ever seen that, Richard Butler is the actor in it, and he's a engineer, builds buildings and bridges and things like this. He's an engineer, and they see that there's an asteroid coming, or what was it? Greenland was an asteroid disaster movie, and it's going to be a extinction level event. This asteroid's going to come in and blow, boom, 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 blow up the world. We need to pick and choose a certain number of people and take them up to Greenland. That's why the name of the movie is Greenland. We're going to take them up to Greenland, and we've got this bunker in the side of a mountain, okay? And it's all stored with all kinds of food and water and everything we need for a small group of people, okay? We'll store them off away, put them in that bunker. The asteroids will come in, boom, 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 bombard, and it'll kill everybody on the world, okay? They'll all die of starvation because they won't have any food to live on and everything. And after 10 or 20 years, we'll come out of our bunker and we'll repopulate the world. In those movies, every one of them, we can't put everybody in the bunker. We need to evacuate the Earth. We need to evacuate the Earth, put them on a spaceship and go to another planet and repopulate that other planet somewhere. They can't put everybody in a spaceship. They can't put everybody in a bunker. What they do is they have to pick and choose who gets to stay and who gets to live and who gets to die. I want to know who the people are that make that list. Soros, Gates. Those are the people that make that list and go, yeah, and Biden, and President, and Putin, and world leaders. We're the ones that we get to live. We get to go down in that bunker. We get to survive. The rest of you cockroaches, we need to stomp your ass out. You see where I'm going with this? So here you got, in their own words, Georgia Guidestones, somebody that put that up believes all this shit. We need to kill everybody, 15 out of every 16 people, okay? What percentage that is, I don't know, it's about 8% of the population. So we need to kill 92% of the population so that the rest of us can live. Okay, I'm okay with that, as long as it's God making that list, not Biden, or not Soros, or not Gates. Okay? If God's making that list, okay, I'm okay with that. But not some cheesy ass politician. No, I'm not okay with that. Yeah, Georgia Guidestones were made as a guide for future survivors of extinction events to repopulate the earth. Okay, there we go. Let's say you're true. Let's say, who was it? Dewey stuff. All right, let's say that's true. Let's say it's not, hey, we want to kill everybody, but if everybody has to die because of an asteroid or whatever, and everybody dies, we won't let the population get above 500 million people ever again. Okay, we'll population control the earth. All right. These people that think this way, they go, when's that asteroid going to hit? Next week? Or 100 years or 1,000 years from now? When's that? Well, we can't rely on an asteroid. When's that volcano going to blow up? When's Yosemite? Because they talk about Yosemite is going to blow up and that's going to, blanket the earth with soot and dust, and it'll be a nuclear winter, not a nuclear winter, but a winter, a world extinction event. And those things don't kill everybody on the earth. What it does, it kills the crops, and then the crops can't grow, and then people die of starvation. But how can we do it ourselves? Oh, viruses. Yeah, okay, let's get a virus. Now we can't do that here in America. If we actually did that in America, and if people found out, oh man, our goose would be cooked. Where can we do it? Some places technology is good enough. Okay, can't do it in the Congo. Can't do it in Zimbabwe. Can't do it in the South Pole. We can do it in China? Yeah, and it's a communist country. They'll cover it up for us. So they go down there and spend a bunch of money. Obama spends a whole bunch of money putting all this research into the Hunan province area of this test facility, trying to come up with new viruses and stuff. And they come up with one and oops, accidentally slipped out. Really? You believe that? It accidentally slipped out? Okay. And it accidentally went worldwide, okay? But it doesn't kill everybody. It just kills the old people. Yeah, that's a good thing. Let's kill all the old people because they're just gonna suck all the Social Security money. So let's just kill all them. They're not productive in a world anyway, so they're good cockroaches to kill, okay? So let's kill all the old people. Hey, that's a good virus to put out there. Yeah, that's pretty good. But that's not gonna wipe out 15 out of 16 people. Okay, so what are we gonna do? We gotta come up with we got a different virus, but we can't put that one out. What would really work, and this is my theory here, what I've kind of come up with, and I might be way out in the left field out here, but let's say we come up with this first virus and it just scares everybody. And it's bad, it's worse than the flu, it scares everybody. And we can hype it all up on the news. We can hype it all up and we've got a cure for you. Get the jab and you'll be good. Now you got to get a jab every 6 months. Every time a new virus comes out, we got to give you another jab, get you another jab, get you another jab. Okay, so everybody gets doped up on these jabs and it's in their body now. Once it's in, can't get it back out, okay? I can put these glasses on, okay? I can see better, okay? But then I can take them back off when I don't want them. The jab, you can't take it back out. You put it in, it's in. You can't take it back out. A tattoo is less permanent. A tattoo, you can put a tattoo on and then you can get a laser removed, not the jab. When you put it in, it's in, period. So, how about we do this? It's a two-step approach. We throw this one virus out there, get everybody scared, and they go get this jab. And we come up with another virus 10 years later, 6 years later, 2 years later, 20 years later. But we come up with this new virus that we've already got in line, ready to go. But it doesn't work unless you got the jab from the previous virus. And you got the jab, this virus will kill you because you got the jab. That's what I just have a feeling 40, 50 years from now, we're going to be watching documentaries and it's going to show that was the plan all along. You know, I just don't trust them. Come on in and take the shower, Mr. Zhu. Come on in, take the shower. We'll take care of your lice problems. Yeah, you know, come on. We put you off into the ghetto, and you can't. You know, it's terrible in the ghetto. If you remember your history, folks, they put them in the ghetto in Germany. Okay, they put them in these ghettos around Berlin. Okay, they put them in there, and life was terrible. It was good, and then the Nazis took power, and they go, hey, let's get all the Jews, round them up, put them over in this little neighborhood, and basically starve them out for the most part. And the Jews hated it. We'll do anything to get out of this ghetto. Oh, really? Hey, we got a train leaving. We're going to go out in the countryside. It's going to be nice out there. You want to go? Sure. Get me out of the ghetto. Whatever. It's bad here. Jump in the train. Choo, 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 choo. Out to the concentration camps. And man, you guys are dirty and filthy, nasty. Well, yeah, because we've been in this cramped up ghetto and there's no water and we got, you know, too many people together. We start getting lice and stuff like this. Yeah, no problem. You know, no wonder. Yeah. Well, I got these itchy, I got these lice. Let me get, yeah. Hey, right over here's a shower. Let's go over and get, you know, we put delousing powder on you and everything and go in there and take a shower and get rid of them and everything. Yeah, that's a good idea. Come on into the shower. And they can't wait to get into that shower. And you know what happened after that? Whenever the government says it's such a good thing, when I was 30 years old, I probably, oh yeah, get me a virus, you know, get me a vaccine too. And the older I get, the more I realize there's some dirty, evil people running the governments. Not just our government, our governments around the world. So have I lost everybody? Have I pissed anybody off yet? No. But I don't know if that'll happen. I just got a bad feeling about it, you know. And if they'd have come out and said, hey, we got this bad thing called COVID. We think this is a pretty good vaccine, and you know, get it if you want. I'd have probably got it. But when they start, you get your ass over here and take this vaccine. Okay, I'll take you, you know. If you don't take this vaccine, we're going to fire you. If we're in the military, we're going to kick you out of the military. We don't want that vaccine. You know, you're a nurse and you don't want to take it. Guess what? Nurses know a little bit more about this shit than I do, and they don't want it. Enough to where they'll lose their job for it. You ain't putting that shit in my arm, I'll quit. You know, or you're fired to get out of here. That tells you a lot right there. You know, when there's doctors that say, no, this is not a good thing. So. But on the other hand, 40 years from now, we might be going along and say, you know, there was that bad thing back in 2020, 40 years ago. It's 2060 now. 2060, and we're looking back on a documentary of back in 2020 and all the people that just went ape shit off their head, worried to death that vaccine was a bad thing, and there was nothing to it. And everybody went along fine afterwards. And so, I don't know. But as of right now, I'm on the side that says, no, it's a bad thing, and they're pushing it too hard, and I don't trust them. That's the side I'm on right now. So, I might be wrong. Probably not. But you just don't know. Time will tell. But, I don't know. You don't know. Anything anybody else want to talk about? All right, let's see what, the comments were going pretty good there for a while. I was watching the scroll. My son got fired from the CRP, Canadian Royal Police, is that right? CRP or CPR? No, CPR, Canadian Provincial, I don't know, CPR, anyway. This nurse wouldn't either. There you go. Yeah, North Star, she's a nurse. Yeah, there you go. It's suicide. Yeah. Got fired in Canada for not taking the vaccine. Hope you don't get a strike for this. I probably will, and I don't give a crap. After the boss and coworkers and family got it, they had. But see, the thing that gets you a strike on YouTube, the thing that gets you a strike is when you're a doctor. I'm not a doctor. I'm a dumbass truck driver. If I was a doctor and I was out here saying this kind of stuff from an official, this is an opinion. They don't give you, they don't knock you for the opinion. It's when if I was a truck driver and I'm out there telling everybody that trucks are all going to explode tomorrow, okay, I won't say expert, but I kind of know what I'm talking about when it comes to trucks, because that's what I do, okay? And I was out there spreading misinformation about trucks are all going to explode tomorrow, okay, ooh, it's a bad thing. Then I get a strike for that because I am, from an official point of view, talking about something that they consider being wrong, okay? Me as an opinion, I can say whatever I want for the most part because I don't have any authority behind me, as in a doctor's document, a license, okay? When you become a licensed doctor, like, remember Lock 'em Up? He's a licensed doctor, and he's out there saying this kind of stuff. They take that serious because they don't want misinformation going out. Because he's speaking from an official capacity, whereas I'm talking from an opinion capacity. So that's where you get that. The only time I ever got a strike was when Lock 'em Up was talking about stuff. And I got a strike for that because he's an official, licensed, maybe not here in America, Canada, whatever, but from an official point of view, and he wasn't saying what they wanted him to say, or he was saying things they didn't agree with. So anyway, I really hope Musk gets Twitter bought. I really hope watch Twitter will go through the roof once he gets it bought, if he does finally get it bought. I don't know. And at that point, I'll probably start looking to figure out how to change from YouTube over to Twitter or something. I don't know. We'll see. We'll cross that bridge if it comes around. I don't know. Anyway, so let's see. Wish you could buy Facebook too. Yeah, I don't have a. I don't know how to say it. I don't use Facebook. I use Facebook for what it was originally intended for, putting stupid little pictures out so grandma can see it. I put a video or a picture out there so my mom goes, oh, that's wonderful. He's sitting over there doing this. Oh, I can keep up with my grandkids or people from back home, my relatives or whatever. Okay, and that's what I use Facebook for. I log on. I go through and see what my sister's doing, what my niece is doing, what my mom is doing, people like that. I go do that. And while I'm on there, I'll scroll through and just see what, little funny, little ha-ha, what do you call them, memes. I'll sit there and see what a little joke here and there, whatever. When you start using Facebook for political stuff, that's when Facebook gets dirty and nasty with you, okay? When you sit there and start saying nasty things about, let's say, Biden, if you start saying stuff, whatever, and then they go, wait a minute, he's got enough gravitas on Facebook, and he's putting so much out there we don't agree with, then they put you in Facebook jail. And I don't think Joe ever found Facebook jail. He was out there in California trying to find, he had people that were in Facebook jail, and he was going to bust them out, if you remember right. pulled into Facebook's corporate headquarters out there by San Francisco, I guess, somewhere out there. He pulled in the parking lot. He pulled up a security guard. He says, "Hey, I'm looking for the Facebook jail." What? So I got to bail out some friends of mine. They're in Facebook jail. What? And they just right over their head. It's a joke, and they just completely missed it. It was like, what are you talking about? Anyway. Yeah. Yep. what gets me is people put so much on Facebook that they put so much stuff out there. Like somebody just said something, you know, the FBI, CIF, they really, you know, it's just a gold mine of information on people, you know, and if they ever wanted to hang you on something, they can go, see, look at all the stuff he talked about on Facebook, you know, look at all the stuff, well, look at all the stuff he talked about on YouTube. You know, this little video today, right now, 5 years from now might be, if they wanted to do something and throw me in court or something, well, look back on October 24th of 2022, he said this, you know. Don't know. I'm getting to the age now, I don't care. They can drag me off and kill me. I would go somewhere it's better, you know. We were talking, who was I? We were talking about people that, you know, older people dying when they're 80 or 90 or 100 years old and they die. They had a good life. They had a good life and you're supposed to die at that age, you know. You're supposed to live, you know, be born, live through your life, and at the end you pass on and you either go upstairs or downstairs, one of the two, you know, and that's part of life. What bugs me is when a kid with leukemia dies at 7. 7-year-old kid dies from leukemia, you know, that bugs me because they never really got a chance. They were in their whole life they've been in a hospital trying to fight this cancer stuff. That tugs at me. Oops, sorry about the mic. That tugs at my heartstrings. But when you're 58 and higher, and you die, we had a pretty good life. I can't complain, you know, I've had a good life. Oh, we're all talking about Facebook now. That's one of the things I wished, when I first did Facebook, I wished I wouldn't have put my real name on there. I wished I would have put, you know, Sasnak or something instead of my real name. I didn't know any better at the time. When I first heard of Facebook, I'd heard of, what was the one before it? MySpace? Yeah, MySpace. Was it MySpace? Yeah. Anyway, friend of mine, truck driver friend of mine, I was sitting there driving down the road and hollered and talked to him. This is, you know, many years ago. I was sitting there talking to him and he says, I said, what are you doing? I was, you know, he called me and said, what are you doing? I said, I'm driving on point A to point B here, wherever I'm going. He goes, oh, so what are you up to? He says, oh, I'm sitting here in the truck stop, or sitting here in the truck on Facebook. Facebook? What are you doing on Facebook? You're 60 years old, you know. What's that got to do with anything? I says, you're 60 years old. You know, only people on Facebook, and I'm thinking MySpace, the only people on Facebook and those kind of platforms and everything are kids, you know, teenagers talking about Miley Cyrus and Justin Bieber. You know, they're going to look at you like some 60-year-old pervert out there, you know, shopping for teeny boppers or something. Dude, get off of that. What are you talking about? Like that's what I thought it was. I thought it was like MySpace, you know. And he goes, no, I'm not on there doing all that. What? I'm playing poker. You're what? I'm playing online poker on Facebook. What? He goes, yeah, I'm playing online, you know, Texas Hold'em poker on Facebook. Explain. So he tells me about it, and we're like, huh. He says, yeah, you sign up and everything, and we can play poker together. You know, I'll be wherever I'm at, and you be wherever you're at, and we get online together, and we can play Texas Hold'em poker at the same table. I'll look into that. So I looked into it, and went, oh, okay. So I signed up so I could play Texas Hold'em poker with my friend. Oh, I would have just known, don't put my real name on there. Would have been, you know, put Joe Blow on there or something like that, you know. So anyway, yeah, I wished I would have done that, but oh well, it's out there. And the thing is, once you're on Facebook, I actually got rid of Facebook years ago after listening to news reports and stuff and everything, how much they track you and all this kind of stuff. That's a bad idea. Let's get rid of this. So I went and got rid of Facebook. Got completely just deleted everything. Got cleaned it up as best I. Do you want to delete this your Facebook account? Yes. Delete. This cannot be undone. This is once you delete. Yes. I want to get. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. And went through all this, and finally, I think it's all gone. Cool. And a couple years later, I needed to get on Facebook for something. I guess, what the hell, maybe it's not as bad as I thought, And this is before Facebook jail and all that crap, And I get on there and I type everything back and go to restart. I figured from scratch. I figured, no, that one's all completely gone. Man, I got a lot of gray hair back here. Look at that. Man, I'm getting old. A lot of gray hair. So I thought I'd have to start from scratch. I typed in my name, boop, boop, and everything comes back up. I thought that was all gone. No, once it's on there, it's on there. Yeah, no taking it back. So, with all of them, Twitter, what's the other one? I don't remember. All the different ones. There is a delete all on Facebook. Yeah, and I tried that, and it sort of deletes everything, but as soon as you go and try to start a new account, it all comes right back. It's all still there. Been through it, done it. Yeah. There you go, Viper. Yeah, don't use your name, you use your dad's name, So if it's John Smith and it's John Smith Jr., just use John Smith. It's your dad's name, not your name. But, But yeah, there's a lot of things I wished I'd be able to do different, but oh well. How did you do playing poker on Facebook? I lost all my money. No, I had fun with it. It's pretend money. It's not real money. When you sign up for it, they give you like $5,000. Oh, low power mode. About out of battery, folks. We're gonna have to wrap this up. But yeah, they give you like $500 or $5,000 or something like that, and you play. And I did okay. I mean, it's not like I set the world on fire, but I had fun with it, and I did it just for a while. Didn't do it, But anyway, that was just something. It was like a little video game you could play. But anyway, let's see. Hi Stan, what do you think about that this country is about to run out of diesel? It's reported about 30 days away. Don't know. I guess in 30 days we're running out of diesel. I may have to make sure I have enough to get back here and park it in the shop. I don't know. I guess 30 days from now it won't be gone. It'll still be here. So if we run out of Thanksgiving, we run out of fuel at Thanksgiving, I guess I just live in the bus out here instead of traveling around the country. I don't know. Folks, I wouldn't worry about running out of diesel. I worry about running out of DEF fluid. Your diesel exhaust fluid, they make it in two places, China and Tulsa, or somewhere in Oklahoma. There's a factory in Oklahoma, here in America, and they make a bunch of it overseas. And the one in China caught fire or something. Anyway, went down for a while, and they couldn't make any in China. All of a sudden, DEF got really hard to find a couple years ago. It got really hard to find. And all the truck drivers were like, oh my God, I go in, I want to buy, I can top off of fuel, but I can't get but 5 gallons of DEF. They were limiting how much DEF you could get. And I got to thinking, you only got one factory here in America that makes this stuff. And all these new trucks run on it. And if you don't have DEF, they won't run. They'll shut down. That'd be a real easy way to, you gotta be careful how I phrase this. If something were to happen to either one of those plants or both of those plants, there's no DEF. That means there's no transportation. That means everything gets shut down. Everything. Now, there'd be a few trucks like mine, a few, but there's nowhere near enough old trucks that don't have DEF. percentage-wise, there's 10% that don't have DEF and 90% that do, okay? And if, now, granted, they could make an emergency declaration somewhere and you go into the mechanic and they just get in the computer and turn that off and it'd run without it. You know, what happens when you don't have any DEF in your truck? If you run out of DEF, the truck will run for a certain amount of time, but then it shuts down. It shuts down to low power mode. You limp, what they call limp mode, and you got like 50 horsepower, and you can limp along the highway at 5 miles an hour to get off the freeway, and that's it. Okay, but you can't go in. You can't. It just limits the horsepower. Shuts the engine down. Now you can get in with the computer and get in there and go click, and unclick that little box, and that sensor won't sense anymore, and the truck goes, oh, yeah, we don't need any DEF, and you go back to no DEF truck. So that's one way they could get around that. If for some reason something actually did happen where those plants went down for some reason and there was no DEF, they got plenty of diesel, got plenty of drivers, got plenty of trucks, just don't have any DEF, take it to the shop, they got a mechanic, get on there, next truck, okay? And you can go in within the next so many days and get all that done at the shops, and all those trucks be the DEF delete done on them. And then when the factory came back online, they could, all right, got to go back and get that put back onto your computer. So, but anyway, the computer chip thing, I mean, look what it's done to the automotive industry, because these little computer chips, they don't have a chip, they can't make the cars, and it's, when you put all your eggs in one basket, it's a bad thing. And they were putting all their eggs were in those chips in China. And that factory burned up or something, and now because of the shipping problems during the COVID shit, remember all the ships out in LA couldn't come to shore because they didn't have enough, there was too many ships trying to get in and not enough manpower to unload them. And yeah, so there's those little things that can trip you up, and can trip up an economy real easily, and DEF is one of them. It doesn't take much to shut the industry down if, so anyway, battery's about out on the thing and I gotta go pee. So I'm drinking too much coffee and I gotta go pee. So y'all be good. It's been an interesting day. I don't have a bus to work on, I get to yakking. I don't think I said anything new that people are like, what? What, he's changed his mind? No, I've said this several times over the years, or months or whatever. I've said it many times, nothing new to today's video. It just kind of all condensed into one video here, so. But anyway, with that, y'all be good. I gotta go squirt. So y'all be good and take care. And Ron, if you're watching, I'll give you a call here in a few days, see how your arms are doing. And Eric, maybe I'll give you a shout someday, or you called me or whatever, and visit. So with all that, y'all be good, take care, and I gotta go pee. So y'all be good. Later, bye.